Welcome back to Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast, the preview of the Tour de France 2026, our biggest race of the year, the biggest riders of the year, and our biggest episode of the year is brought to you by Join Cycling. We're going to get into the route, the favourites, the history of the favourites, what they've done this year, the narratives, the storylines, as well as, of course, the points jerseys, the sprinters, KOM battle. We're looking at new points classifications. We've got pointsflation. I've just seen running rampant in the green jersey battle that Mads Pedersen might not be too happy about, and a whole lot of other interesting subplots to get into. I'm pumped, Benji. We took a little break, but now I'm fully in TDF mode.
I cannot wait for this Tour de France to start. I cannot wait for this preview to start. I've got so many things I want to yap about to you, and let's start off with the quick glance over the route, Patrick, because we're starting off not in France this time around. We start off in Barcelona. We're going to be in Barcelona in about a small week now. Jesus, the race is starting very soon, isn't it?
Starts on Saturday, because they don't have to have a rest day, because there's no border they have to, well, no separate country they have to cross into. They go straight across the French border. But indeed, they start in Barcelona with a team time trial. I love it. Everyone's hyped about it. All the teams are selecting squads specifically for this first stage. Then we have a hill stage on stage 2. Stage 3, we cross the border into we have a light Pyrenees stage. They didn't want to have too many hard mountain stages early to kill the race. So the third stage, they cross the Pyrenees, but it's a soft, medium mountain stage. We then have another versatile sprint stage towards Foix from Carcassonne, aka the hottest place on earth. And then we do have a proper mountain stage. As we leave the Pyrenees, we have the Tourmalet stage, but no mountaintop finish. A few sprints as we head into the Massif Central, and by law in the Massif Central, you have heat, you have medium mountains, and you have Puy-Marie-Liron. So they're running back the 2024 stage stage 11 or something. We then have a few more sprints, quite a soft week two until we get to the stage 14 and 15. So the first mountaintop finish is stage 14, and it's not even a pure mountaintop finish. We have the Alsace Markstein false summit, and then we have Plateau de Solaizon, which is properly difficult, as we saw in the Haute-Savoie region at the end of the Tour of Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes. Week 3, backloaded. We have a stage 16 individual time trial, hilly but not as steep as 2023. Another sprint, a soft uphill sprint in Ossier-Mallet, maybe for Poggi, it's time gaps. Then the Alpe d'Huez, Unipuerto more or less, and then the Queen stage on stage 20, a brutal finish on, 5,500 meters elevation gain before the Champs-Élysées Montmartre circuit. It's a different route to previous years, Benji. What do you think they're trying to do with this?
Ooh. I gotta say, whatever parcours you present, Tadej Pogačar is gonna be the favorite. So I don't think that necessarily impacts the ability for Tadej Pogačar to win this race. I would say that we're looking... It's also not like the race is that backloaded either, because there's mountain stages in week 1 as well. What I am noticing off the bat is that there's not that many sprint stages in the last week, you know? That's the one thing where I'm like, 4 sprinters off the stage, what is it, 12?
I think they have to wait a long time to maybe sprint in the first week. They might have to wait until stage
5?
5 to sprint. Yeah,
I think it's 5 until 12 is the window.
Yeah, and then indeed you have a lot of medium mountain stages. I think for the Ben Healy's of this world, the Morich, it's a beautiful route. I think they have a lot of those sort of stages where it's too hard for a sprinter, it's not hard enough maybe even for UAE and Pog. And you heard Mike Turnison complaining, I think it was him saying, where's something for the classics, boys? That's what I noticed is the difference. I don't see the same hectic as last year. Last year, the whole of week 1 was these Rouen, Boulogne stages with narrow, punchy climbs near the finish. There is an absence of that in this race.
I do like that, and I think the aspect of having that window of the sprinters being towards the end of week 1, start of week 2 is actually not too bad for me, because I always find it good that the start of the Tour de France is spicy, explosive. And yes, a team time trial is not everyone's taste, but outside of that, there's some explosive stages in the first week, including mountain stages. So I like that aspect, because once you're invested as a fan after 5 days, it's not like you'll turn off because there's 5 sprint stages in the next 7, you know? So You got the people in week one, and then they're gonna stay for the final week, which is the clash of the Titans. I like the shape of the Grand Tour. I'll make my mind up by the end of the podcast how much I like the actual parkour. You know?
Yeah, but you're right. You have to really go through each stage to think about what's going to happen. But it is in 4 zones, as I said. It's in, let's say, the pre-Pyrenees. Well, it's in Barcelona as one zone. Then we have the Pyrenees, then the Massif Central, then the Alsace, Haute-Savoy region, and the Alps. So there's no Dunkirk, no Brittany, no Nice. Nice has had a lot of stages recently. No Mercantour Alpes-Maritimes region. So it is concentrated in those regions. But let's set the scene. I haven't got the odds, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say Tadej Pogačar is the favorite. I am correct. Now that I see it in front of me, Pogačar is the $1.25 favorite for this race. Why is that the case, Benji?
Because, well, he's been pretty dominant in the last 2 years when it comes to the Tour de France, but I want to take it back further, Patrick, because Tadej Pogačar came to the forefront in, first of all, the Vuelta 2019, but really in that 2020 Tour de France where he became the challenger in the last week for Primoz Roglic and then overtook him on that final time trial to Planche de Belfië. But it's more the next couple of years that really brands his story, I would say, because yes, he dominated 2021, for example, and then we go to 2022, 2023, where it didn't go very well. He still had weaknesses in those years, and we see Jonas Vingegaard exploiting those vulnerabilities in 2022 and 2023, winning those 2 Tour de France where Pogačar became the challenger himself. And we had a really fun back and forth over those years. But then in 2024, everything changed because Tadej Pogačar showed up at the Tour de France or at the season of 2024 at a significantly higher level than before, without weaknesses that were notably exploitable, and delivered the highest level cycling performances, climbing performances ever seen in the sport of cycling. So that's how we ended up back on top in 2024, and Jonas Vingegaard was back as the challenger. Both had injuries along the way, whether it was the Liège-Bastogne-Liège crash of Pogačar in, I think, 2023, while Jonas then had the crash at Basque Country in 2024. A lot has happened along those years, but it comes down to 2025. Pogačar dominant going into 2026. Still pretty damn dominant in the races we've seen him so far this year, except maybe Romandy, and his level at Swiss very recently was fantastic. So he's undoubtedly the man to beat, but how close, Patrick, is Jonas Vingegaard in terms of his performance at the Giro d'Italia versus the highest level we'd expect from Pogačar at the Tour de France?
Well, it's not as good. So Biancavallo's not as good as Pogačar on Plateau de Bay, on Périgueux last year. It's in line with Hautacam last year, but that was Pogačar's median level. And so it's all about what's your range of performances across what are 5 key stages in the Tour de France. So Pogačar's range of performance is higher. His range is, whatever it was, 6.6 watts per kilo for 40 minutes, 35 minutes, to 6.8 watts per kilo. That's his range. Whereas Vingegaard's on Hautacam, the range was lower. And then Biancavallo, it's in line with Hautacam, but can he do that level or better for the 5 stages? That we haven't seen. And Pogačar has.
And the added factor is, Tadej Pogačar is also more of a finisher to me in terms of races than Jonas Vingegaard. I'm not talking about finishing the race, but about finishing as the winner at the end of a day if they both go together to the line.
Exactly.
And the factor there, plus me considering Pogačar as the better individual time trialist, team time trial we'll discuss in a second.
But especially this TT.
I think Jonas needs to climb better than Pogačar to be able to win this Tour de France, not equal.
Exactly, because if you just say equal, then like you say, Pog's going to take bonies. He always has the bony advantage. And on that ITT, it's not as hard as the Combloux one. The climbing's not as steep. It's not as steep a climb as in the 2025 Dauphiné TT where Pogačar did a bad performance. It's much more similar to the Nice TT in 2024 where Pogačar destroyed everybody. We thought he was maybe hungover. I think Remco's car was telling him that he was telling Remco that Poggy was hungover. Was not the case. Maybe he was, but hungover or not, he smoked them in the time trial. So I think, like you say, Vingegaard's got to drop him somewhere. And not by 10 seconds. He's got to drop him. And no one's dropped Poggy properly in... Like on a climb in what, 3 years?
We could say Arensman last year, but that's not really real Poggy, you know?
Nah, that does not
I think
count.
it's,
Sorry.
I think it's
no
Sivakov
offense.
in 2023
Sivakov?
in the Italian Classics in Varesine.
Sivakov dropped Pog.
Yes. I saw a video of it this week. I'm telling you, look it up. PCS 2023 somewhere, maybe 2022. I don't know. It has to be 2023 at the end of the year. Because otherwise it would be on us. That would be the last one.
I think Enrique Mas dropped him somewhere, but I have to check those tapes. But
I'm telling you, it's Sivakov.
You've pulled that one. But indeed, that's okay. Let's say 2.5 years. No one's dropped Pogacar on a longer climb.
Giro della Toscane 2023. Let's go.
I think he was literally just back from holidays. He'd been on his Ollie Bobs. But wasn't Sivakov on his team?
No. Rode for Ineos still.
There you go. Things you learn. So Pogacar's the deserved favourite. Are you surprised he's only $1.25?
It's still a Tour de France, you know, so $1.25 is always very close, but I'm not surprised that Tadej Pogacar is a close favorite, just as a whole. I don't put much value in how close the odds are personally.
Yeah.
I'm not a betting man, but yeah, I'm not shocked that the odds are that close. I go into this Tour de France expecting Tadej Pogacar to win this Tour de France, but a lot can happen because a cycling race is a cycling race. Do we attribute any fault to the idea of 2 Grand Tours in a row for Jonas? Because if I look at the past of Jonas, I would say in his second Grand Tour, he got sick quite often.
Yeah.
This year, he managed to get sick in the first one. So your take during the Giro was that maybe that leaves him unsick.
Roglic should always get the crash out of the way. That was always my take.
Yeah, but then a hay bell would show up out of nowhere for Roglic. So
Yeah, true. I think with Vingegaard, we've seen that. So Vingegaard's second favorite, by the way, he's $4.50. Sexas is $10. So Vingegaard is, the clear second favorite in the market. Vingegaard's traditional preparation last year didn't get him close.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Giro to a double, maybe it doesn't work. For Pogacar, it worked. For Simon Yates last year, he was nowhere.
Yeah.
He was nowhere in the second half of that race.
Exactly. He won a stage from the breakaway, but couldn't offer much as support for Jonas. But the added factor there is as well, if it ends up not working, at least he won the Giro. So then the year is not a complete disaster, which probably isn't the viewpoint of Jonas, but I think it is a conservative protection point going into the season, that it's pretty good to have a Giro on the belt going into the Tour de France, not just for pressure, but also for, what do you call it? Not pressure, but motivation?
I think just being like, you're playing with house money a little bit more. I mean, it's the Tour de France, so the pressure's always going to be there, but
Yeah.
I think Vingegaard came into the Tour last year without a win.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
I'm pretty sure. And so that is different to coming into this Tour de France with 11 World Tour level wins. And so, yeah, I think it's a positive thing as long
Actually,
oh, did I miss something?
Algarve time trial, Patrick.
Sorry, Algarve. No World Tour level win. Sorry, Algarve, GC, and TT. But no World Tour level win. But the proof is going to be in the pudding. He has to, like Pogacar did, he has to have improved from the Giro.
Yep.
And that we will see on stage 6.
I do want to point you towards, you mentioned Paul Sixas there for a second. Before you go on your beautiful rant there, I want to chat about, you said the odds are 10 for him, 4 for Vingegaard. I think the odds would have been much closer between the two
They were.
if Sixas had won the Dauphiné.
They were much closer. They were almost joint second favourite. And the Dauphiné crash has lengthened Sexas. I think that's not just because he didn't prove it. I think it's literally because there's videos of him riding around in bandages at the moment. And also the decathlon team was just announced. By the way, thank you all press officers. You heeded our warning. We do have the bulk of the teams announced. So thank you for listening yesterday.
We put so much pressure on them that half of them resorted to garbage AI slop to announce their Tour de France team.
Yeah, that is the one that's in vogue at the moment, isn't it? But Sexas lines up for his first Tour de France, his first Grand Tour. He is, how old is he? 20 years old, 19 even. He's 19 years old. He's still ranked as the third best rider this year, despite crashing out of the Dauphiné in 23 race days. He's different gravy, as they would say.
Wait, what's the gap with Del Toro? Because he's won so much, Del Toro, that you'd expect him to be in the podium, you know?
What's going on? UCI points. Success has more because he did more one-day races. Yeah, Success is pretty good. And indeed he is the third favorite, and we're bringing it back. So Join have a special challenge for the Tour de France. We had it for Vingegaard. Now in this Tour de France, your discount rides with Success. So they're all in. We're Pogacar, Vingegaard. Forget about them. Old news. We're riding the hype train of the new wave. We are doing a discount based on Success. So
how?
We're calling it a sale. It's called a Success. So your discount is linked to where he sits in GC on a given day. So if he's outside the top 15 or he abandons, 15% discount. If he is in the top 15, 20%, top 10, 30%, top 5, 40%, podium 50%, and if he's in the Maillot Rosa, if he's in the Maillot Jaune, if he's in first, 60%. That's not at the end of the race. So if he somehow gimmicks like a top 3 through like a Bray item, you get 50% off that night.
So what you're telling me is that if hypothetically after stage 5, Paul Success is on the podium, lock in.
Well, if you're a hater like you.
What do you mean?
Well, you can wait for the extra 10% when he wins the thing.
Okay.
It depends. It depends how you view Success. That's what I'm saying. But indeed, if he's in the podium, you might want to lock that in. So we thought that'd be a fun thing to do. Thanks to Join Cycling for supporting us throughout the year.
I'm sorry. Whoever invented the term Success should be fired.
Success. I think it's brilliant. Sail. I can't pronounce it correctly.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
then again, that's a you issue.
That's a me issue indeed. But thanks to Join.
You can't pronounce Success either.
Exactly. So why not make two things I can't pronounce correctly? If you want structured training, you know that Join Cycling is the best place for you to go. And we have also a Tour de France training plan called the Tour de Join you can do. So even if you're already signed up, because that's for people who haven't signed up. If you've already signed up, we have the Tour de Join from 4th to 26th of July, and Join takes you through the race stage by stage with 4 structured workouts per week that's based on the actual stages happening. And if you complete at least one, you enter the draw to win a special t-shirt. So we've got something for you, those of you that are signed up, but if you haven't, we've got Sail Sass. We have Sail Sass. All right. Red Bull Hansgrohe, which was finished setting the scene. They are the wildcard duo for the podium. I quote, the Tour de France is not won by a special individual, it's won by a team. That was in their press release. Tadej Pogacar is not a special rider, Benji. He's just carried by his team. I
think both is true. I think Tadej Pogacar is a special rider, but team is important, because I've been thinking about this for a while now, Patrick.
What's the worst team he could win the Tour on?
If you put Pogacar in Cofidis, my go-to would be, yes, he'd win the Tour de France,
he'd win
but
easily.
I'm not sure he would.
You'd be surprised.
I think Cofidis wouldn't be able to control any breakaway. You think Emmanuel Buchmann will ride for Tadej Pogacar?
No, but you have like some guy like Pete Allegart is going to start controlling flat break formation.
Well, Pete Allegart is a good rider, but he can't control the Tour de France breakaway. I'm sorry.
Yeah, neither can Niels Pollitt.
I'm not having this. Well, yeah.
Von 2, run it back. Anyway, that's
Guffin is I can't even
respect.
The words don't even come out
Respect.
to describe my feelings.
I'm taking Benjamin Thomas. Benjamin Thomas can control the break.
Not for very long when it's
The problem
climbing.
with these teams is they don't have Tadej Pogačar. If they had him, a rising tide lifts all boats. Look at Decathlon with Sexas.
Decathlon got better before Paul Sixas.
True. Yeah, their bikes change everything. Okay, that's the scene. We have Remco and Lipovic. Apparently, Remco's the big leader. Lipovic is the not the co-leader. He's like below Remco, but I think for Lipovic that's okay. He seems to avoid the pressure and then do really well anyway. So that's the scene. We haven't mentioned Ayuso, no offense, but we haven't seen the climbing level to really put him in the tier of Sexas, Vingegaard, Pogačar, and the Bora duo. But let's go through. I think it's time for our team by team, Benji. Let's begin with UAE Team Emirates, who bring a different squad this year. Pogačar's support, we just alluded to his support. He's supported by the third or second or fourth best rider in the world right now, Isaac Del Toro, winner of 3 World Tour stage races. He's his main right-hand man. Tim Wellens is there with the Rouleurs, Vermeersch, Niels Pollitt. Adam Yates is the pure climber, and we have McNulty and Großschartner as the sort of bigger climbers. It's a versatile team. The only weak TT rider is Yates, but he's like competent, but the others are, I would say, value adds in a TTT.
Yeah.
No Narvaez from last year, no Soler, no Sivakov. So the incomers are Vermeersch, Großschartner, Del Toro. McNulty.
Okay. Well, I think it's one of the strongest teams on the start line. Like, I think it's a good decision to not have Sivakov in this roster. That was one of the names where I wasn't sure whether he'd have deserved a spot in this Tour de France team, because I expected Vermeersch, Wellens, and Savot to be present. Yes, Narvaez was dominant at the Giro, and also with a fantastic stage win at Tour de Suisse against Murisa, I think, in that 1-up sprint, 2-up sprint, whatever. Depends on what you call Murison competitor for Narvaez or not. I think it's probably the best roster that I expected for this team to show up. Großschartner's been strong this year. McNulty, I expect him to be there. Del Toro, like, sure. A peak Almeida here is also the Del Toro level support for Tadej Pogačar. It's good for the race that there's only one of those two present. Because if Almeida's also here, last year we didn't even see him in action in the mountains. No. He crashed out on Muur de Bretagne before we got to the mountains.
So remember, that's why Aronson most likely won that stage 14 or the second one, because there was no Almeida by then to do that last heavy pull on the long climbs.
I think my simple reaction to this team is strong enough to control the race for Tadej Pogačar when necessary. I think Tadej Pogačar is the favorite and has a team that's expected for a favorite, to the point that I think Del Toro can podium this Tour de France next to Tadej Pogačar.
I think so too. I think the only, Vermeersch is good. Wellens is going to be always good. Großschartner, I think, deserved to go. For a number of years, actually. Great time trial rider. So that's the big advantage he has. I think the only question marks would be Adam Yates. Is he 23 Adam Yates anymore? We don't know. He crashed out of the Giro. He
just needs to be Micah.
Exactly. He doesn't need, with Del Toro, he doesn't need to be their best climber.
Still a big expectation, because Rafa Micah's a pretty good cyclist at his best.
And McNulty's been a little bit less this year compared to last year, but that might just be more down to crashes. But he was a bit off in Basque Country, but he's had a long preparation and was 6th in Swiss. But otherwise, it is a very well-balanced team, no weaknesses, jobs for all terrain. You can't really see like a only glaring weakness, I would say, and that's, that goes for any team, but is if Del Toro has a problem, potentially they're not like stacked in the high mountains. On the other hand, I think Großschartner climbs so well that like they'll still be okay.
I agree. If Del Toro has trouble, then there might be an issue there, but
that's if.
Yeah, that's a big if. Visma Leasebike then is the challenger, of course, with Jonas Vingegaard as their leader and we had some change in that roster recently. Wout van Aert not being able to start this race, Laporte neither. We went through those injuries in our last weekly show if you missed it. And the replacements for those riders are Hagenes and Piganzoli. Next to that, we've got Armiraikus, Jorgensen, Affini, and Kampenaerts. And that's also a super strong roster. The only name that I could have thought of that maybe would have fit in a Tour de France team would have been a Ben Tollett, but I wouldn't even know who to pick out to replace with Ben Tollett. I'd rather see a Giro level Piganzoli in my mountain train personally. So I think this roster is strong. And I've said my take on Wout van Aert before. I think as a domestique for Jonas Vingegaard in the last 2 years, he's entirely replaceable. So I don't think it's a massive loss for the abilities for the team to score GC. On an individual stage basis, I lack a bit in the team. Like, hypothetically, if they finish second in the Tour de France, I don't see many opportunities outside of potential breakaways for the team to take a victory outside of Jonas, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Outside of like a medium mountain breakaway, but they're hard to win.
Yeah.
You know, like even Wellens won that last year when Campenaerts was there and came second. So I think the difference between this team and the UAE team is, firstly, there's no Del Toro level rider. We saw in the Dauphiné that Del Toro was better than Jorgensen and better than what Piganzoli was in the Giro. So that's one. It has 3 60-kilo climbers, which is a different construction to UAE. So I think this team is more geared to... This is the most climbing-focused team that Visma's brought for a number of years.
Yeah.
Because Campenaerts, you're like, oh, what do you mean? Campenaerts is a climber. Campenaerts was the last climber in Paris launching Vingegaard. Campenaerts was like reducing the groups to 12 in the Tour last year. Yeah, he is a climber in the same fashion as like Grosjean is a climber.
Now, the thing, if we look at a tactical situation, hypothetically, if Tadej Pogacar is in yellow after week 1, and we go into the week 3 mountains, then on paper, Visma Lease Bike is going to be the team that will, first of all, UAE will control break formation. That's step 1 of a mountain stage, hypothetically. Visma Lease Bike will look for a point in the race where they can try and blow it up. In so doing, they'll try and make the climb a bit harder in the run-up to that moment. And I'd expect then their train to try and launch Jonas Vingegaard at a certain point. When that happens, Tadej Pogacar will most likely be able to follow. We'll see what happens, of course, in the race. But I would expect Del Toro to be able to follow everyone except Vingegaard in this team, you know? So if Vingegaard attacks and doesn't drop Pogacar, and Del Toro comes back, then Vingegaard's isolated against 2 UAE riders. Is that a possible scenario?
Definitely possible. Like, definitely possible if it works out that way. But will Sykes be there with the Del Toro? Then how will UAE play it?
Yeah.
That's the interesting question. We'll get to the stage by stage. But yeah, that is exactly, you know, Del Toro is a better climber than on paper than everyone on that team except Vingegaard. So they have the upper hand there. But indeed, it's for the TTT, probably not the favourites against Ineos, but it's, a sort of balanced team. But like you said, yeah, Visma blew it up on the Madeleine last year. Pogacar himself was isolated. And as Geraint Thomas astutely said, like, an isolated Ferrari is still a Ferrari. So, yeah, the problem was Vingegaard couldn't drop Pogacar. Not that there wasn't a satellite rider or whatever. But yeah, there's a risk because 1, 2, 3, 4 of these riders come out of 5 of these riders come out of the Giro. Is that right?
No. Affini, Vingegaard, Kuss, Piganzoli.
Affini didn't do it.
Affini didn't do the Giro as an Italian.
No, Kuss, Piganzoli, Vingegaard, Campenaerts.
Campenaerts, of course.
4.
So those 4.
Yeah. So we'll see.
It's funny because, like, 5 years ago, Giro Tour double would have been like, oh,
it's
and then
heresy.
Sepp Kuss wrote.
It's like
then Sepp Kuss wrote all 3 Grand Tours was like the wall's broken.
But when Pogacar did the Giro Tour double, he was the only UAE rider to do the double. So it is different to how UAE managed the double, maybe out of necessity because UAE had a different roster they could send to the 2 races.
That's also what I think. I think Visma Lease Bike doesn't have that much choice here because if Wout van Aert's on level, I expect them to send... Well, if Wout van Aert's not injured, on level is a different thing. I think if he had the level of the Dauphiné, but a little bit better, then they still would have sent him, regardless of whether I would have agreed with that. But I think Wout would have been here instead of one of the people that came from the Giro. Laporte would have been here instead of a Hagenes. So I think it's injuries that led them to this moment. Now, do we need to go to the parcours first, later, to be able to judge where there's terrain for Visma to try something? Or does something come to mind where we see like, because Tadej Pogacar in 2026, I'm sorry, but I can't point at a clear weakness.
No, exactly. But it's a smaller climber. So I think, remember last year on the Haltercam, on that stage, on the second last climb, Visma started to pull and then the team collapsed. And so I think here you have more climbing redundancy. If Koos has a bad day, Jorgensen has a bad day, you have a bit more redundancy. Does that make a difference?
It can.
Pogacar has to have a problem for it to matter in the end. Let's move to Decathlon. They just announced their team. Paul Sexas is joined by their other star signing. Olav Koy is going to the Tour after toing and froing. Yeah, I'm happy about him, and he deserves to be there. He's supported by Kees Bol and Dan Holer in the lead out. We then have Riccatello was the main climbing support, and then the all-rounders are Prudhomme, Parry-Pantra, and Benoit. I think it's very light climbing support. I know me and you disagree on maybe Prudhomme, but like Prudhomme and Parry-Pantra, they're really not that good at climbing.
Yeah, well, they're okay climbers, but Parry-Pantra's a medium mountain hilly guy.
But like compared to like a Großschartner guy, they're not close.
I think we can't overrate Großschartner either. This year he's been good, to be clear. But in the last couple of years, he's had moments where he wasn't at all near the level that he was this year. And
Tour of Austria 25 was pretty good.
Tour of Austria 25. He got 10th in the Tour of Austria behind Peter Janis. Janis Peter, sorry. Which is the guy that won Sibiu, or am I inventing that?
I maybe won no Czech Tour ahead of Kian. All the stuff,
yes.
Like he won the stage when Kian exploded.
Yes. So based on those results, you got to say Großschartner is the next Pogacar. But on a serious note, I think we're overrating Großschartner a little bit today and underrating Prudhomme a little bit. I think they're closer to each other than you're presenting. But Parry-Pantra is for me not a climbing domestique. He's a hilly/medium mountain domestique in the sense of, I can't even say Castroviejo. Castroviejo was a good climber on his day, you know?
Castroviejo was like Campenarts before.
Yeah. So, what?
It's the same rider. It's literally the same rider.
I'm yet to see Campenarts in the last 8 riders in the Tour de France mountain stage.
Castro
did in 2021.
True.
Then again, 2021 was not the...
No, but they're to me, they're like small... like climbing roulette.
If you had to compare them to an animal, which animal would you pick? Hedgehog?
Yeah, something like that. Something small and punchy. It's a team in 2 parts. I don't like the construction, I have to say. I think it has neither great climbing support nor a great lead out. I think it's weak in both areas. And I'd like where's Bissiger? So now for the TTT, I think the problem with Bissiger is he was bad in the 2 TTTs they did. Yep. Like he didn't help that much. So for the TTT, it's weaker. Do they just blow Riccatello off? Like, does he drop on the first hill? How does that work? So he has to just sit on in the TTT. I think it's
for me, Riccatello is just domestique,
pure climbing domestique. Yeah,
yeah. And I'm looking at this roster, and like you say, there's no real lead out here. Dan Hole and Bol are present, and I do think they can help with piloting Koy into a position, and I think that's enough. Olaf Koy is not the sprinter that needs the massive support. We said this in our attempt to convey Decathlon to send Koy to the Tour de France without support. I think he's got more support than I actually expected. If I look at 2-3 weeks ago, I think in a perfect world, Koy can be in a position to win a Tour de France stage. He's not an obvious pick for a Tour de France sprint stage anyway, but it gives them respectability in the sprint stages. I agree when it comes to their climbing support. I'm missing Mulberger is the big name.
Well, they
I
flicked
don't know whether
Mulberger.
it's... What, sorry?
They flicked him.
Yeah, I swear I heard someone, maybe, I don't know if it was you on the podcast, say that he got sickness at some point. But
I made it up. I made it up. I misread his Instagram. I assumed, oh, he's gotten sick.
yeah.
He must, I assumed he's gotten sick because why would you not take Mulberger after that Giro and him preparing for it? And what he actually wrote, obviously my brain has been destroyed by Instagram reels. I can't concentrate anymore. He wrote that he's very disappointed not to get selected. And it's either A, there's no space for him because they needed to take Case Bowl for Olav Koy. So 2 spots got taken away from Sexas. Possible. Option B, he got flicked because he's joining Trek with Felix Gall.
I think my mind usually goes to option 2 in the same way that Emilien Janier is not being selected for Total Energy. I find inexplainable, but then again, they then picked Jordan Gigal, which was the one that was rumored to stay home because he's going to Little Trek.
Yeah.
So very confusing there. When it comes to the Decathlon, I think Case Bowl's presence is what led to Mulberger not being selected. And I don't think Case Bowl should be here. I think Mulberger can be here. And I think that'd be a better roster. Olav Koy having done Hole to just put him in position to then figure it out himself, while Mulberger would be extremely valuable for Paul Sixas if he's in Tour de France form, Giro d'Italia form, sorry. That would already make me look very differently at the mountain team, but to be honest, it doesn't just come down to that for me. It also comes down to the fact that Decathlon should be able to people manage Felix Gall into being happy with a GC leadership at the Giro and riding for Paul Sixas at the Tour de France. That's your mountain domestique that you need for Paul Sixas.
Or Giro
He's in
Vuelta.
your roster.
Yeah.
I know he wants the Vuelta, but I'm sorry.
Yeah. Or I don't know what happened there. But indeed, it is surprising there seems to be space. I think the problem's not Bowl. I think the problem is Benoit, predominant APP. You kind of have 3 of the same rider. And I think you need Mulberger in for one of them. And I don't know which, but I think Mulberger would have been a better pick than one of them. Anyway.
Because if we look at a scenario in a race, for example, I do think a team like Decathlon doesn't need as much strength in the mountains as a team like Visma Leasebike, because Visma and UAE will control the mountain stages more. But it's still good to have a domestique they're on in the last valley to the final climb. Are they going to certainly have that with this roster?
No.
I'm not sure. It depends on the day.
You need Riccatello to be really consistent. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens. Let's move now to Remco Evenepoel's team, Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. No Jordi Meus. We have a team all built all around for GC. It's a similar construction, I would say, to UAE and Visma, actually. They have, like, one pure climbing support in Hindley, where you have Koos and Adam Yates. You then have some all-round punchers, like a Maxim Van Hils, who climbs very well. Some sort of versatile rouleurs, like Dens, Catania, Jan Tratnik. And then you're like a classics rouleur, Tim van Dijk, where you have the Hagenez and the Florian Vermeersch. And, of course, the 2 GC leaders, Remco Evenepoel and Lipovic. I think it's a team that's actually going to perform very, very well in the TTT. Yes, it doesn't have the big trucks, but I think it's going to do a good TTT. I don't know how they're going to play out the pacing. I think it's not a problem because Red Bull's TTT strategies has been to keep riders. So I think they just get Lippo and Van Hils and Evenepoel to the final climb, and then the 2 go off. But yeah, I think it's a good roster. Like I have no criticisms of it really.
Same, like, yes, it's sad that Jordi Meus doesn't fit in the plans of Red Bull, but if you have 2 GC leaders, which in my eyes is the case here, then there's no question about whether he should be in the team. He shouldn't. That's the reality of the situation. So Remco and Lipovic, there's been a lot of talk in the town over the last 2-3 weeks. I feel like I've seen different reporting in Belgian media versus worldwide media on the leadership within the team. Because Belgian media was calling Remco as the leader and then Lipovic as, well, and they were like presenting the quotes of the people in the team as Lipovic being like the secondary child that that will only step up if Remco has an issue. That's not the reality of the situation. Even if a Red Bull staff member comes to the table and says, yeah, Remco's our man and Lipovic is second leader, they're only saying that because Lipovic himself comes to every interview and says, I'm just a bottle carrier for Remco, eh? That was not even remotely the right accent for Lipovic, but that's the kind of behavior that Lipovic has. He's a sandbagger at its finest. He goes into races saying that he's not the leader every single time. Wouldn't shock me if he says that at the start of the Tour de France. They're both co-leaders at this race. They can both podium this Tour de France. They've done it before.
He podiumed the race last year. So do not believe Florian Lipovic talking himself down. Do not allow it. He'll obviously be very, very good. The only change I would make is that, Pithy is good. Pithy's like a proper classic guy to solve situations, position you.
Instead of Dens?
Yeah.
Or Tratnik?
Yeah, I guess on shape, you'd have to say, instead of Tratnik. The thing is, Pithy's done a different preparation. He's gone and won races, and now he's not done the preparation to do this race. He has to have a rest now.
He could win on Montmartre.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm like, okay, you don't take Megas, but Pithy also gives you that angle, and he can really help a GC leader. Although Lawrence did crash Danny in Paris, but it didn't cost him a GC place, but he didn't mean it. No harm done, but I would have put Pithy in there somewhere.
No harm done. Crazy thing. I agree with you. I would have considered leaving Tratnik home instead of Lawrence Pithy, but hey, that's a preparation thing. I don't think it's a crime that was made. But
no, it's not changing the Tour de France most likely. Let's move to Trek.
Okay, Trek. I want to give them a big shout out because they were one of the teams that hired an artist to draw their team reveal on social media. The guy called Fete on Instagram. Really nice graphics, so credits to them for doing so. Instead of opting for the AI slop road. Yes, I am in my anti-AI slop era. Deal with it. Juan Ayuso is their podium candidate for this race. I used my eyes to scroll very swiftly while barely reading the sentences over their goal article for this race, and it included the podium for Ayuso and the green jersey for Miss Pedersen. If I recall, I'm not completely sure about the second one. We'll talk about it. But Ayuso is your podium guy in this team.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I wasn't shocked that Derek G's in the roster because I may or may not have been told about a half a week ago. But I was shocked when I heard it that G would be here.
How many versatile rouleurs do you want? Let's bring all of them.
Wait. Derek G's not a versatile rouleur, but I agree with you on
that.
Simmons.
That is why he's here. They've brought him for that reason. They've brought him to chase breaks. They've brought him to pace on stage 4 for Pedersen. I bet you anything.
I'm sorry, I'm not allowing that shit.
Are you whether you want to allow it or not, you was going to see.
He literally top 5 the Giro.
Yeah, but he's going for. You're going to go for a breakaway win, and he's going to pull on stage 4 to help Pedersen win a reduced sprint.
I think he's your third last man in the mountains.
For who?
And that's for.
Oh, for Ayuso. Sorry, yeah.
I was like, what do you mean for who? Disrespect?
Where's the lead out? I don't understand. I don't understand. There's no lead out. There's 70-point sprint stages.
Wait. Is it that they've come down to reality that Miss Pedersen is not a bunch sprinter and therefore they...
You have to get passable results in the 70-pointers. You have to.
Wait. We need to confirm here. Can Luke check whether that goal article from the Little Track actually included green jersey goal?
He has to be going for green.
Because if it's in the document, then I don't understand why there's no lead out at all.
Because who could they... I mean, Vatsek can do a lead out.
How long is Edward Turns home with his child? Do we know?
Yeah, get Turns in.
He rode the NCs.
Exactly. Turns is good to go. Get him in.
Wow, his level wasn't great.
Nah, Copenhagen. It doesn't have to be good. He has to do a lead out on the key sprint stages and position. He doesn't have... Why does he have to be good?
It's a Tour de France.
No, he doesn't have to be good. He has to be on 5 stages able to position Pedersen in a sprint. And anyway, this is designed for, like Ayuso will have the help of Schelmoser. So I think Skelly did a fantastic job for him in the Dauphiné. So that's fine. This team is designed to get in breakaways on the transition stages with multiple rouleurs and Pedersen and win those stages and take green jersey points.
Is Derek G also not there for team time trial purposes?
Good point.
If we then look at that roster, Squins, Verona, G, Simmons, Schelmoser, Vatsek, Pedersen, Ayuso, then the only thing I'm missing for a TTT roster is maybe a Söderqvist.
Yeah, but what is G doing? Doing Andorra to Canada and then back again to Barcelona. I know it's not on a trip to Australia, but
very quick family visit.
No, he won it. I know he did it to win national championships, but
okay,
I'm just saying it's not like
not the ideal preparation for the Tour de France.
Yeah.
It sounds like a last minute change.
Yeah, the problem is you can't rely on Søren Kragh. You can't rely on him at the moment.
Yeah,
and
he does lead outs for Philipsen.
Yeah. So it's designed for a very specific purpose.
Oh, imagine if Albert Philipsen was in this roster as well.
Yeah, you have every 70 kilo all-rounder in history.
Timo Nijs.
He has a specialty, so he's not allowed. Okay, that's the little trek. They're going to go for a Ayuso podium. I think, the way him and Skelly work together, I think it's all right. I'm going to move to Bahrain.
Luke confirms the green jersey goal, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not making it up. I'm just going to speed up a little bit now. Bahrain victorious bring Antonio Tiberi for his first Tour de France, and Lenny Martinez for the polka dot ambitions. He said Moritz for breakaways, Bauhaus for sprints, Caruso to keep the young lads on track, Gradek as the rouleur, Stannard to sort of do, I don't know. And then Vlad van Mechelen, who started to improve. He was very good in the Dauphiné. And the Belgian Natty Champs ITT. So they have, they got a lead out for Bauhaus. They got Caruso to hold Tiberi's hand. They got Lenny to do his thing, hold on to the car. And then, it's the best team they can really put on. They got their best riders there. So that's Bahrain. They'll go for top 5 with Tiberi. EF, they bring the stage hunting hit squad. Ben Healy, who's won a stage and taken yellow last year. Askren, who won a stage as well and a stage in the Giro last year. Carapaz for KOM. Baudin, their best GC rider perhaps this year. Sean Quinn, all-rounder with a bit of punch. Steinhauser podium, was it in Paris?
Right. The way Carapaz rode Swiss in terms of strength, I wouldn't be so sure that Baudin's the best GC rider.
No, I mean like consistent GC rider this year for EF was Baudin. No?
Okay. 12th at Dauphiné, 9th at Itzulia, 9th at Paris-Nice.
Yeah, maybe
I don't consider that a Tour de France GC rider.
Yeah, I'm overstating that maybe a little bit.
I think Carapaz can fight for a top 7 in this race. He just crashes too much and has too many off days in Grand Tours over the span of his career for me to trust him.
He does.
Carapaz versus Del Toro would be a great fight for top 5, by the way.
Carapaz and Del Toro in a break, please.
Oh,
please. Heaven. Remember Carapaz and Jorgensen got into beef last year?
Yeah, it reminds me of those days. What are like the top beefs that we can remember? For me, Brambilla versus George Bennett.
Yeah, Aina Rubio Ciccone was generational.
The Kes de Pagne rider. Rui Costa versus Carlos Barredo fighting each other with wheels.
Valscheid
in 2010.
Seneschal.
Yes. Oh, this is a podcast in itself.
Exactly.
Let's just bin this Tour de France brief and yap about beef.
Top beefs. It's a design to win a breakaway stage, and KOM maybe or better with Carapaz, and then Valgren and Walker are also there. Lotto Intermarché, Arnaud Delis as the sprint option. He's been good and unlucky in Tour de France sprints recently, but is he climbing well enough to survive the versatile sprints? Van Eytvelt for GC, Zimmerman for break stages, Hubarts, sort of all-round rouleur, Berkmo's the puncher, Slock is very good, and Krabs and Vistroffer. Vistroffer was designed for the Abrahamsen, so I want to see him and Abrahamsen in breakaways. Thank you very much. NSN, big lead out. So this is a proper lead out here. Van Asbrook, Askey, Stewart, Louvel. 5 different guys around Binney for the lead out, former green jersey winner, Frigo for the breaks, Bennett for the climbs, Naylands for the breaks as well. So there's an advantage when you don't have a top GC rider. You can put more guys around the sprinter And that's what we also see at Picnic Benji, with Bittner supported by Dont, Vandenberg, Merkel, Bisterbos, and Degenkolb. They also have Bargy, Vandenbroek for the harder stages and the climbs.
I think there's one thing we forgot to do, and it's taking a look at Ineos. And because the team is not confirmed, I think I heard a stern warning in the last preview, in the last podcast by Patrick, that if their team is not announced by the time the Tour de France preview happens, and they've actually got a good excuse for it. But Patrick did say that we have to take a look at the bottom 8 riders of the roster now in terms of UCI points. So the Tour de France roster, by that rule, is Bob Jungels, Peter Uxenberg, Ben Swift, Lucas Hamilton, Loris de Plus, Victor Langelotti, Mikkel Kwiatkowski, and Jack Haig. Who's their GC leader, Patrick?
Jack will be, sorry, what's the journalist, the Italian journalist with the pink avatar on Twitter?
Ciro.
I think he tweeted today what the Ineos team will be. Did he not? Or was it Benson?
I don't know. I do not follow the man.
Anyway, the team is apparently well around the TTT. So let me just check what he said was... Okay, here's the rumored Ineos team. Bernal, Kwiatkowski, Foss, Vokeland, Ganna, Aronsman, Godon, Tarling. Tarling broke his collarbone, I think, but is making a recovery, it seems. So Aronsman will go for stages, I suppose, or... Olney's out. I mean, they go to win the TTT and then stages, I think. And then you just got to put resources around Godon winning stage 4, for example.
I do not hate the idea that Aronsman tries to go for GC before opting for stages.
Yeah, I agree.
He just top 5 the Giro.
Why no Carlos Rodriguez?
For me, Carlos is breakaways because he's too fragile.
But he's not in the team.
Oh, well, okay. I didn't remember every word you said there, but
Bernal's in there, not him.
I don't know, actually. Like, he wasn't that great at the Dauphiné. He had I think one great stage, or one notable stage, where he got in the breakaway, if I recall correctly, and was useful there.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, his level is just not there.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll just send him to the Vuelta as a consequence.
Yeah, it could be. So they're my favorites of the team time trial. Quick Step bring...
Are they with that roster?
Yeah, they are.
Repeat again.
Oh, I've lost it. I've moved. I deleted
Ghana,
Twitter.
Aronsman,
Tarling, Vokelin, Kwiatkowski, Foss.
So Tarling is riding.
Yeah. And
despite his
Foss.
collarbone injury.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to do an Abrahamsen.
Yeah. So I think they're the favourites for it, especially with Foss in.
Yeah.
Speaking of Norwegians, Uno X Magnus Kort, who's just announced his retirement and won Danish Natty Champs. Tobias Hand Johansson, who was top 10 last year. Varenskjold, who's a sprinter. Abrahamsen, who won a break stage last year. Trine, who was top 10 in the Vuelta. Anders Holland Johannesson. Skarseth, who just won the Norwegian Natty Champs. And Charmick, who just won a Dauphiné stage from the breakaway. It's the best team they could probably put on paper. So they got GC ambitions. They got versatile sprinter in Kort. They've got a proper sprinter in Varenskjold. They've got punchers. They've got attacking barrelers in Abrahamsen. They're sort of fit for every scenario. Look for them to do a raid to move Johannesson up in a GC position. Groupama bring newly minted French Natty champ Romain Gregoire alongside Guillaume Martin, Berthet, Brazafonso, Germani, Pacher, Rousseau, Costu. This team's all about getting Gregoire a stage win in the Tricolor in Barcelona. Otterbrooks leads Movistar. They're not announced, but yeah, he'll be supported by like Adria and co. And they're not announced. Philipsen and Van der Poel head up Alpecin. They'll have a strong lead out around them. No Caden Groves, I don't think. But indeed, Van der Poel will go for the stage 2 in Barcelona. Philipsen for all the sprints. It might be my favorite for green, actually. Tudor bring Alaphilippe, Trentin, Stora, Plomer's decline, Haller, Hirschi, Voisard. So they've basically, apart from Kung, just picked the highest paid ones on the team. But indeed, Alaphilippe is the puncher. Can he do it on stage 2? Trentin, the all-rounder. Stora, probably the best climber. Decline, the sprinter. But no real lead out for him except for Ploemers. And then Cofidis, Allegart, Biermans, Fretin, Kirsch, Page, Arenbrew, Thomas, Izagirre. They're going for breakaways. Izagirre might snag one. He's in good shape this year. Jagat leads Total Energies, top 10 last year. Turgis, who won a stage in 24 in the... he won the cobble stage. Gravel stage even. Ahead of Pidcock, Vercher, Lebert, Brouillard, Delbove, Guernalec, and Delettre. Pinarello Q365, not announced, but they have British Natty champ Fred Wright, and Pidcock is their main guy. So Pidcock will go for stage 2 and probably see how far he can go in GC. And then Caja Rural, led by Seb Berwick, GC leader. And then Alex Molinar, Nicolau Balderstone, Gaviria for sprints, Oldani, Otrua Para. Last one is, no, I'm still going. XDS Astana, bit of a strange team actually. No Fortunato. They have Turnison leading out Cantor with Ballerini and Gate. So they're going for the sprints with Cantor. Then they have Agita, Tejada, Vinacuro, Velasco for breakaways, I would say. Tejada's always good in the break. And the actual last team, not lying to you this time, is Jaco Alula, Michael Matthews, who's back from injury with Plapp, Ackerman for the trying to get top 5s at sprints, O'Connor, Schmidt, O'Brien, Engelhardt, Durbridge. So it's a really well set up team for the TTT. A lot of engines. They're all big guys. And then Bling will try to do a versatile sprint, and I think they'll try to win break stage. Schmidt nearly won last year. I've rattled through the teams. Any last thoughts, Benji, before we do the stage-by-stage profiles?
I think it's funny that Fortunato was planning to come to the Tour de France to win KOM and then he's not here. I haven't heard of sickness when it comes to him, so his absence is somewhat surprising, I would say. I don't think it's the strongest team in the world, that roster of XD Astana. Like, Tejada can fight for a breakaway stage victory. I don't really see it when it comes to that roster, I'll be honest. But overall, there's a few riders there where I've got question marks. Like Tom Pidcock, for example, was good at, I think, Eschborn and that race in Andorra next to your house. And but that's also not the 2 races that will define my immersiveness in his chances for GC quality, you know? So I don't know where he stands when it comes to GC. I kind of expect him to be good. Now, overall, we've gone through the start lists. When it comes to the green jersey, high profile here for a second, we've got the Jasper Philipsen at Alpecin Premier Tech bunch. We've got Metalier at Quickstep Pedersen at Trek.
Benny?
Last year, Philipsen would have won the green jersey if it didn't crash. I think Jasper Philipsen's winning the green jersey.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's an advantage. There's just an advantage with these teams that have one structural. That's why Bora just gone one GC, Alpecin, NSN. They go for just one guy, and also Quickstep with Merlier pretty much. I don't think Landa's doing the tour. If they unify around one goal, it makes it more likely to win that goal than, say, like the decathlon split team, where it's like, is Koi going to win green with that setup? Probably not. But before we get into the stage-by-stage sorry, for polka dots, I mentioned ad hoc. Lenny Carapaz have declared their interest for it. No Ciccone. He's not on the Trek team. He was probably going to go for it, I would say. White jersey. Paul Sexas is the heavy favorite, and if he finishes, he should win that. But is Ayuso still eligible?
Right, Ayuso is still eligible. He's still a young dude.
There you go.
He's still only 23, by the way.
Okay. Del Toro also pretty young. Okay, so there's a few decent riders. Del Toro, Ayuso. They need to change the rules for that. They need to lower the age to like 18 or something.
There'd be no one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but there's something we haven't discussed as much. We haven't discussed yet, Benji. It is the impact of the weather on the riders. A few days ago, France recorded just about its hottest day ever with a national average of 30 degrees. We had 40-degree temps in Paris. And racing in that kind of heat puts extra stress on the body. You lose more fluid through sweat. You rely more on carbs. The same effort feels harder. And that's why getting your fueling right is more and more important. And Morton helps with both. Morton has a complete nutrition system built around their hydrogel technology across their gels, drink mix, and bicarb system. The idea is to help carbohydrates or bicarb get through the stomach and into the intestine where it can be absorbed without gastric distress. So I just did this 2 weeks ago. Super hot day, high altitude, a lot of stress. Body was wanting to shut down, but I just kept pumping Morton drink mix and gels, and I had zero issues at all. I stayed fueled. I'd never done anything that long physically, and I felt still, apart from the muscular fatigue, which that's not Morton's fault, that's my lack of training's fault, my acuity and energy was still fantastic at the end. So if you're training in the heat and you want to get more carbs in as well, look into Morton's additions. They Like if you have flavor fatigue, you can get the cola ones, the apple one, the orange one, just to make you more likely to keep taking in the carbs that you need. There's also the menthol edition. You'd be thinking, menthol? What am I, 14 years old, sitting in a park with my friends, have menthol cigs? No. I asked about this. I'm like, why do you have a menthol editions like flavor? Apparently, the menthol edition creates a cooling sensation that can make hot conditions feel more manageable. It doesn't lower your core body temperature, but it can change how hot you feel, which matters when you're exercising in the summer heat. Get 15% off your Morton order with the code LRCPTour26 at morton.com. And for every drink mix purchase, you can get a free box of additions. The link is in the show notes. Oh, and by the way, Morton's launching some sort of discussed, unknown. I checked on Twitter, no one knows it's launching. They're launching some other cool products during the tour, but they're top secret. They're embargoed for now. You hear more about them in a second. All right, stage 1, Benji, Barcelona. We're going to be there. The TTT. Take us away.
Okay, I'll take us away. I'll do the uneven numbers then. I guess we've got a team time trial of 19.5 kilometers long. It's mostly flat for the first 15 kilometers, and then we start the Montjuic climb and then another hill to the finish line of 700 meters at 7.5%. The Montjuic climb is, of course, a kilometer at about 5.4%. It's a climb we see in the final stage of Catalonia a billion times. But quick rep, we got to repeat this as always. The team time trials in the Tour de France and in ASO races as a whole go differently than the normal team time trials. It's not the fourth rider's time that counts, but it's the individual times of riders that count. So if hypothetically UAE Team Emirates launches Tadej Pogacar to the finish line and he finishes alone, his own time counts for him and their own time for the other riders counts as well for the others. So that's the thought process behind it. Question before we jump into our predictions for the stage. Are there inherently bigger or smaller gaps? We've got limited data, but between the old and the ASO TTT rules, I feel like this sometimes leads to bigger gaps because there's more mistakes in the last 3 kilometers of a stage like this, no?
Especially with the hills, teams get their pacing wrong. Indeed, you'd think in a 16K, 20K TTT against the top super teams, there's normally not bigger gaps. But yeah, I feel like there can be decent gaps of 20 seconds here plus, which is significant.
I think it's going to be bigger.
Yeah, like exactly. Some teams lost a minute. Yeah, like bigger teams lost a minute. And I'm not so sure. We'll see. I really don't know. It also depends on how you like execute on the day. But yeah, we have 3 intermediate time checks, which is, we go past the Sagrada Familia and then go through a Champla and then go down to Montjuic. We don't have an intermediate time check at the bottom of the last hill. Don't like that. I like to know who did the quickest climb, but it is what it is. And how would you pace this TTT, Benji?
To be honest, I think it's getting to the climbs with as many people as possible and maybe going a few riders off the back by the time you hit that point. But then it's almost already launching time, whether that's Pogacar and Del Toro staying together if you're UAE for sure, I think, and maybe even to the finish line. But I think for a lot of teams like even for Red Bull, for example, I expect Lipovic and Remco to finish this together. Because Lipovic is a competent time trialist. Like, I don't expect Remco to drop him. Is that fair?
It depends on how gassed Remco is from pulling. It depends how tough it is in his wheel. But you're right. It's Lippo's a big guy pushing a lot of power, so we'll see. I have Ineos winning this TTT.
I think that...
I think they would have won the Dauphiné one.
Do we have another competition during this Tour de France?
We'll let the people do up the rankings, but I'm just going stage by stage as normal.
Okay, then I'm going for Ineos as well because I want to get it right.
Yeah, we're both like Ineos. Stage 2 from Tarragona to Barcelona, we go back in and we go back to Montjuic, but we have the harder side, so it's a flattish start on the coastline, 90 Ks of flat. Then we have a category 2 climb, 6K, 6%. The intermediate sprints at the base of that climb. So for green jersey points, what does that mean? Does Mads Pedersen go on the breakaway? Does he try to survive? Quite interesting, I think, for the green jersey.
Survive.
Think survive? So we'll see a sprint, but the problem for him
I think he's not going in the breakaway. I think he's going to try to survive. Whether he survives or not, that depends on my incoming prediction.
But they don't this is the first of many. The intermediate sprints are not friendly to Mads Pedersen. Now, he would have preferred that this intermediate sprint was at the top of this 6K, 6% climb, and then you put the myriad of 70-kilo climbing rouleurs on the front to drop Merlier and Philipsen, so you can take the points behind the breakaway on without contest. That won't happen because it's the base of that climb. Then we have rolling sort of entry into the Barcelona circuit. They do 3 laps of the Côte du Castel de Montjuic. It's 1.6K is 9%, much harder than the Barcelona Stage 8 way they do, I think. And the last 400 meters is 15%. That is more than enough for a launch of a Tadej Pogačar. Quick descent, 3K. Oh, no, less than that. Like very, very fast. Then it like kicks up to the line. This is similar to the Saint-Hilaire Stage 4 finish last year, that it's closer to the finish, the climb. I think this is a Tadej Pogačar victory.
I think it's boring, but for me as well, because the climb being 1.6K 9% for me makes it a little bit harder to see Van der Poel beat Tadej Pogačar here. It's not impossible, but for me, this is Tadej Pogačar territory. I would like to see the Clash of the Titans, though, on this stage, to be honest.
Break?
I don't
think
see
Break's
it.
got a chance.
Wow.
So let's say Ineos take yellow, right? Then UAE don't have yellow. And then it's like stage, like Bettiol or no, who Bardet had yellow in 24. And then there was the Bologna circuit. UAE didn't control and Vauquelin won.
Yeah. Yeah, but if Ineos wins a team time trial, they'll control the breakaway.
For who?
For whoever's in the yellow. It's Geraint Thomas, man. They'll honor the jersey, remember? 2024 Giro.
I'd get it if it was Only, because like Only was surviving these tour stages last year, but
even if it's Ghana, they're going to try and manifest a scenario in which
surely
in their head he survives.
Don't you go in the break with like Vauquelin again?
They wouldn't. They would honor the jersey. It's Thomas leading Ineos. We've had the discussion for 2 years straight.
I think the break could have a decent chance. I'm not so sure UAE, if they didn't have yellow, would control all day, personally.
I think stage 3 is break, by the way.
Yeah, let's go to that logic then for stage 3, Benji.
Granolaires tous les Angles. It's a mountain stage, actually. It's not too crazy at the start. Also, there is an 8-kilometer, 4.5% climb, which is not the steepest, but it's enough for break formation to be captivating. And it's relatively flat for the first half of the race until the first climb of the day, which is the Colada de Toses. We've seen this climb before in, Patrick? Catalonia?
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's next to Barcelona, obviously, Benji. But that is a 10-kilometer, 6.6% climb, but the last part is quite steep. Then we go downhill with a tiny valley towards the next climb. It's kind of the third last climb, but we'll get to that. The Col du Calvaire, 12 kilometers, 4%. Then the second last climb is just 2K at 4%, so it's nothing. Before we go down again towards the final uphill segment, which is 2K at 7%? Yes, indeed. So not the steepest in the world. To me, the last 30 kilometers of this race are too easy for me to expect a GC fight here. I think the reality is that we'll see a breakaway go away and the breakaway wins the stage and takes the yellow jersey, and that's the way the cookie crumbles.
You don't think a delusional team will control?
Who? Hypothetically. Because if a delusional team controls, Pogačar wins the stage.
FDJ for Gregoire.
I don't see that. I think Gregoire's dropped.
I also think he has a chance to win from the peloton.
You think?
Not really, but sort of. I could see how they could be convinced of it.
Yeah, but why would you not send Gregoire in the breakaway?
I agree. And same with Pedersen as well.
Yeah. I
think, you don't think Pedersen might think he can win? They got to go on the break. It's 4,000 meters of climbing. It's not that hard to climb. It finishes at 1,800 meters. Pogačar will just win if someone controls. So I think this is breakaway. And Pedersen's got to get in the break to get the IS points. So I think this is breakaway with Pedersen. I don't think Trek will control for that reason. And I think this is... I'm going with Romain Gregoire.
Okay. I think that's a great pick. I'm going with Matthias Watzig.
Stage 4 from Carcassonne to Foix. We have a versatile sprint stage, 182 kilometers long. Could be pretty hot. Again, a lot of climbing, nearly 3,000 meters. It's rolling hills in the middle. We then have a 11K 5.5% climb. And then we have the Col de Montségur. It's 7K 6%. Pretty hard. that crest 35Ks from the finish, then descent, and then rolling downhill to the finish, a sprint finish in Foix. This is the sort of stage that Pedersen has to win. When I look at stage 4, this is a 50-point stage, so it's not a 70-pointer. It's a 50-pointer, but he has to win this, and he has to take that 50-point delta on the others. Binny, haven't seen the climbing shape him surviving. Ineos should help for Godon to win. I think this is a reduced sprint for them, and I think Dorian Godon will win.
Ooh. Is there anyone outside of Godon and Pedersen that we
Bling.
go to in our head and think,
Bling.
yeah, but Bling on a flat finish not happening for me. I think the winner is
Court.
Mathieu van der Poel on a flat sprint. I'm not sure I'm that confident there. I think he'd rather try to go on the breakaway on a stage like this, to be honest.
No, I think it's a good shout, Van der Poel. I think he'll contest it if it's a group of 30-40.
I'll just go for it. Mathieu van der Poel wins stage 4. Got to pick him at some point. Stage 5 is basically a flat sprint. There's a few KOM points available though. 1 in the first half, then 3 in the last 40 kilometers. It goes from Lannemezan to Pau. We've got a Pau stage once again, Patrick. Oh,
Yep.
God gracious. Anyway, the 3 climbs in the last 40 kilometers are 2K at 5%, 1K at 6.4%, 1K at 7%, but the last one tops with 30 kilometers to go, so this will be completely uninfluential for the stage, I believe. Then again, if you're Alpecin, do you reckon you try to put pressure? I don't think you do. I don't think you try to put pressure on a stage like this on Merlier. I think he gets over it. So
I'm not. It's because they're consecutive. That's the thing. If you go from the first one and you do all 3 full, and it's only 26Ks to the finish, I think you can put some sprinters under pressure.
yeah, like Merlier way Tour stage 1 drops here.
Yeah, so
But Tour de France Merlier, I don't think so.
I'm going Philipsen. I just have to go with Philipsen for this one. And yeah, that's how
I'm going to have to do the same. I know we've picked a few stages the same riders, but I think it's because we have the same viewpoint on the winner. Stage 6 is then a stage for you. Sorry, I was about to rob you.
Exactly. Well, Pau gets a second stage. He gets a stage start here. Pau to Gavarnie Guedre, 186.4 kilometers long. Very similar design to stage 6 in 2023. We have 100 Ks of mostly flat, a couple of hills though. There's an intermediate sprint after a 1.8K 7% climb. I think Pedersen, again, he's going to try to get into that intermediate sprint without the other sprinters because of that hill. Then we have the Col d'Aspin, Col du Tourmalet combination, 12K 6.5%, 17.2K 7%, a descent, and then a sort of, what they're calling a climb. It is a climb, 19Ks 4%, gradual. It's not as hard as the Col de Rey Cambasque climb where Poggi countered Vingegaard a few years ago, or in 23. This stage is being classified as an uphill finish, so it doesn't have the 3K rule. It is the first long climb. I mean, that's a 50-minute climb to 2,100 meters. This is the way they race now. I just don't see passivity. I think that someone's going to go for it.
Yeah, for me, this is Pogacar versus Jonas Vingegaard versus Paul Sixels versus the rest. My go-to has to be Tadej Pogacar winning this. Then again, there is a world in which Del Toro ends up winning this race.
Yeah, I'm going with Del Toro.
Ooh, what's the scenario? Sketch it.
Well, a group of 5, group of 6. Foggy's attacked but not dropped everybody. UAE have 2, and Del Toro goes up the road, and the others don't want to chase him, and they wait for a helper, and Del Toro wins by 10, 15 seconds.
Is there a world in which Visma accidentally or purposefully creating a situation where Del Toro gets into yellow by 1 to 2 minutes becomes scary for Pogacar?
Well, and then Del Toro is like, I have to let on the Queen stage of Ismarada just win without trying to close them.
No, I'm meaning more like, remember Basque Country 2021?
Oh,
McNulty?
yeah, McNulty, yeah.
Del Toro's not McNulty, though. You can't just give him a minute to 2 minutes.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, but ideally you don't. It's not a tactical benefit to be behind. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I don't think so either. but I'm not. A minute never happens because, like, okay, Del Toro's good, but is he really going to be? Is no helper going to be within a minute coming back of those guys?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure if Del Toro's there. So, and also Sykes will just start riding. Like the Bora guys will start riding. So,
or they will roll attacks on your group to try and come second.
Actually, that's a good shout.
They should.
Bora should do that. So Bora here should. This is if you're going to use it or lose it, right? The 2-leader strategy. No one has a 2-leader strategy in week 3 of the Tour de France. It's impossible. You can't nurse 2 leaders through a Grand Tour.
Well, Lipovic and Roglic were technically still a 2-leader strategy, but then Roglic went on his YOLO adventure and threw it away in the last week.
Nah, you make a good point. I think use it or lose it. I think that's a great shout. Remco. I'll go Del Toro.
Okay. Stage 7, flat sprint stage, finishing in Bordeaux. Tim Merlier wins.
Yes, it's Tim Merlier. I'm sorry. It's Tim Merlier. Stage 8 from Périgueux to Bergerac, 180 kilometers long. Again, we have 2 category 4s. Maybe there's some wind. I don't know how exposed this region is. Could be a wind stage, but yeah.
Does it matter? Is there that big of a difference between a wind stage and a non-wind stage for Philipsen and Merlier?
I just go with Merlier more if there's wind.
I think I'd go with Merlier anyway. For me, this is a second stage win for Merlier.
Yeah, I'll go Merlier too. Stage 9, Benji, from Bad Death.
Stage 9. Okay, I've got a billion climbs to go over, so that's going to be a sketchy one. Malemont is a start. Finishing in Ussel, we've got 9 KOMs on this parcours. 3 of them lie within the first 50 kilometers. There's ups and downs throughout this entire parcours. It's between a hilly stage and a medium mountain stage. Most of them are hills. Some could be classified as a medium mountain stage if you're generous. 7K 5% is a medium mountain for me.
It's a transition
7K
stage.
4%. Yeah, this is breakaway stage, breakaway victory. Do we? Because like stages like this are sometimes the fun ones where we see a fringe GC rider go into the breakaway and gain a GC jersey in the same way Hindley did, for example, in 2021, 2, 3 Muddy Blanc stage.
That was harder than this.
Yeah, but it's the same principle, right? Breakaway stage.
I think the Uno X, I think this is where Tobias Haaland Johannessen's like, let me move from 12th to 5th. That's what they do. They put all the rouleurs, they put the whole team in the break with him.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Remco should do? No one can ride as fast as Remco on this parkour.
I actually agree with you that if you got a dual leader strategy, you have to try shit like this too. But they will do the opposite and they'll be defensively because they want to play defensively and try to podium that way.
I don't know. They went in Liège. They blew apart the race. They tried to split it. I think they're
but it's Liège. It's on a 3-week stage race.
I think you're right. Some GC team's going to try to pull some shit on this stage. I think it's going to be a Mads Pedersen, Vácek, Simmons against EF, Valgren, and Healy. Add into the mix Maro Schmidt and Luke Plapp. I think this is going to be a cracking stage for the break. So I'm going with Pedersen.
I'm not seeing the super steep climbs where I feel like, okay, this is going to be hilly territory. The second last one is 9%, but it's only 800 meters. So I'm going to take a quick snap at the start list for a second. So you pick Mads Pedersen.
Yeah.
I think Vácek is just as much of a sound. Simmons is as much of a shout for this as well.
No, that's not how they work.
Yeah, if Pedersen's in the team, then Pedersen is leader. You're right. I
go Maro Schmidt. I already gave it to
you. Much of Van der Poel breakaway.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, that's a 100%. Yeah,
but everybody's gonna look at him. Everybody.
Are they? I think Trek will just shut. No, I think Trek will shut it down so Pedersen can sprint the other break guys and Van der Poel can win the uphill sprint.
I think Pedersen is smarter than that. Wow, that's a very controversial statement. In breakaway situations like that, unlike Wout van Aert, Pedersen realizes when his bickies of his teammates are about to end and attacks before that happens.
Or, yeah, I more mean that you don't want to go to that finish with Van der Poel if you're him. But anyway.
Yeah, I think Pedersen would be happy to go to the finish with Van der Poel here.
That takes us to the first rest day. And if you want to discuss the Tour de France during the first rest day, come and join the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast Discord. It's where Benji and I are discussing the Tour de France with you guys directly, talking about every stage, everything going on during the Tour de France. You just become an LRCP member through the link down below on Ko-fi for less than a cup of coffee, particularly in Frankfurt, Hauptbahnhof or Geneva Airport, significantly less than a cup of coffee there. And once you've signed up, you connect to Discord and you're in. The whole process takes less than a minute and you're talking, discussing the stages with like-minded fans. So if you want to support the show and become a member of LRCP, go down through the link down below. We'll be there, not just on the rest days, but discussing the tour ad nauseum in the lead up and the stages live as well. We'll also be doing the live shows, of course, but that's a way if you're looking to directly support the show. Stage 10 from Aurillac to Le Liron, it's 167k, slightly watered down version of the Puy-Marie stage they had 2 years ago. So they do the easy side of Puy-Marie. It's not the Rampas side. It's 50k's less. It's still 3,500 meters of elevation gain. You still have the Pertus. I think this is break.
Ben Healy.
Yeah, it screams him, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just wanted to get it in before you said it.
Benji's gone Ben Healy. I want to pick someone else. I think Schkelmoser doesn't play the breaks, right?
I think he tries GC first, actually.
No, I think the RGC.
Grégoire Vauquelin, what are you thinking?
Seb Berwick. Get him in. Right, stage 11.
This is not my Berwick stage. I'm keeping him in the back pocket for now.
Call the Pertusi. You got it.
Healy drops him, makes him cry. But I think there's definitely still going to be GC action is what I'm trying to convey here, like behind the breakaway in the same way we saw it last year. But I am a bit sad that we don't have the epic Puy-Marie version because I think the stage parcours could have been better and perhaps should have been better. But anyway, stage 11 is once again a sprint stage from Vichy to Nevers. Is this where they make the water that you like to drink in Vichy?
No, I think this is a different.
Free sponsorships. I'm sorry.
No sponsorship for the Vichy regime in France. This is. Wait, we on stage 11?
Yes.
Fuck, they're the same stage. I keep getting confused. Stage 11, 12 is the same stage. Give me Tim Merlier.
I will go for. Merlier is on paper the safe pick, but I don't think he's going to win 4 stages. So I'll pick Jasper Philipsen for this one. I'll switch it up a little bit before we go to stage 12.
From Circuit de Nevers-Magnicourt to Chalon-sur-Saône, it is 180k. It's a sprint stage. We have some shallow climbs. Yeah, it could be hot. It's a bit rolly. Like, it's not flat. It's still a hard day probably a hard day. But yeah, it's a sprint. I'm going to go with Jasper Philipsen. Usually they start to get the lead out really clicking in the back end of the tour.
Yes. I regret picking Merlier Philipsen for stage 11 because this is more of a Philipsen stage. But actually, the climb is not that serious. Merlier wins this one.
No, the climb's not that hard.
Is it bad that we haven't picked like an Olaf Koy or anything for a stage yet?
No, but that's not how it like. You have to. We're actually trying to do a proper job. This I'm actually trying to do a good job this tour.
Are you pretending you didn't try hard during the Giro?
Like sometimes I do my gimmick picks too much, and it's like okay, we have buddy. We have to average out. You know, if you think Merlier's going to win 2, then you got to pick him for 4 of the sprints.
Am I seeing that package behind you that includes a dinosaur suit, or has no one ordered it yet?
That's been ordered yet. It's on the way. Don't worry. Has been ordered. But with this heat wave, it's not health and safety at Lanterne Rouge Media. I can't be wearing it right now. Stage 13, Benji.
Stage 13 is not a flat stage. It's from Dole to Belfort. It's 206 kilometers, so one of the longer ones in this race. And the first 80% is flat. Then we start the Col des Croix, which there's a billion climbs called Col de la Croix, Col de Croix, Col de la Croix, whatever. This one is called Col des Croix and is only 5 kilometers at 5%. And it's a run-in climb towards the Ballon d'Alsace. 9.1 kilometers at 6.8%. The only climb on today's parkour that matters. Then a downhill and flat portion of 10, 14 kilometers to the finish line. So this to me, normally this to me shouts breakaway, but yeah, because like this reminds me of the stages. It's just that we haven't seen a stage like this in a while. I think there was a Mont du Chat stage like this.
This is the Hugo
in the Richie Port days.
Hugo Uhl stage win ahead of Woods and Jorgensen.
Yeah, but there were 2 climbs, no?
I don't know.
Well, nobody remembers that shit anyway, but...
Yeah, you're right.
9K climb is pretty big.
I am going with Alex Baudin because he won the identical Dauphiné stage in the same fashion from the break.
Okay. Oh, are there any glorious descenders? I don't
You should pick
here,
Remco.
Well, if he's a GC rider, no. You expect him to drop out of GC by this time in your theory?
I don't expect it, but if, for example, the Tourmalet has bad memories again, you saw what happened in the Vuelta 23.
Yeah. I think stages like this sometimes have weird winners.
I'm going Baudin.
Oh,
no, can I change my pick?
Yes, you can.
Yoni Zagira.
I like that pick. I like that a lot, actually. I'm going with...
You should pick Aaron. You should pick Aaron Brew. You should have picked Aaron Brew.
I stole your pick.
Stage 14. Finally, we haven't said the words Pogacar.
No. Can I change?
Yeah.
Ramses de Bruyne.
If he... they've announced the team.
Team has just been announced.
Him.
That's why I saw his name.
You know who he was second in the Alex Baudin stage in the Dauphiné.
Exactly.
There you go.
I got to support Belgium.
We have not mentioned Tadej Pogacar, Jonas Vingegaard, Paul Sexas. We've barely mentioned them because that really... Well, we haven't. For 13 stages, we mentioned them on stage 6, but then it's a TTT before then. Now we have a problem.
He's won 2 stages already, right? In our head?
Yeah, but okay, he wins in Barcelona. Like, even when he takes a gap, it's not the same as like ending the race. Formally, the race can end, but stage 14 from Mulhouse to Le Markstein, we're in the Alsace region, and we do the Ballon d'Alsace again. Maybe from the other side, yes. I don't know. We have a hard start, the Grand Ballon, 20Ks at 5%, but in 2 parts. Then they descend, do the Col du Page, 10Ks, 5%, then the Ballon d'Alsace, then a couple of warm-up climbs, then the Col du Hague, which is a fake news climb. It's basically 3 parts of climbing at 10%. It's 11Ks, 7% average. It has 2 descents in it. It's then a false summit of 6.5 kilometers on top. Not a high-altitude climb. It's irregular, but they'll go quick. And I think this is Tadej Pogacar victory. I think they're going to control. Especially on these moderate climbs, there's no problem for Pollitt, and then they're going to launch him. And then even if the reason what we said at the start, even if, big if, he doesn't drop everybody, he probably wins the sprint. So on the flat. So yeah, this Pogacar victory.
How many mountain stages in the last 3 years have gone to breakaways?
A couple last year, but that was because Almeida was out. But the first ones do not. The first ones do not go to the breakaway. They go to UAE.
Yeah, but Plateau de Solaison, which we'll talk about in a second, is also one where I usually would shout no breakaway victory.
No, I mean the first one.
Yeah.
Like Pla d'Ardèche, UAE controlled. Right?
Yeah. I kind of want to give it to a breakaway, but I have a hard time seeing it. So it's also 150K. It can be controlled.
Lenny.
I think it's Tadej Pogacar.
From the break, it'd be Lenny, but...
Or a GC rider that has been dropped out by now. So
yeah.
It could be anywhere from Paul Sixel, Zaremko, Lipovic. Lipovic I don't expect to drop out of GC at all, you know? Ayuso from the break, hypothetically, if something happens. There's so much possible.
I don't think UAE are not bringing this team. Pogacar's not turning up to not try to win the first uphill finish.
I think so too. Stage 15 is a mountaintop finish as well. We've got some climbs on the parkour, but not as crazy as the day before, I would say. Not a continuous climbing stage, even though it's probably quite a serious amount of altitude meters here in 180 kilometers, starting in Champagnol, finishing on Plateau de Solaison, the same climb as in the Dauphiné. Dauphiné, sorry, we've got uphill start, 21 kilometers at, is that serious? 2.1%?
But look where the intermediate sprint is, Benji. This is what I'm talking about.
My intermediate sprint is not on my profile. Tell me.
Oh, it's 17 k's in before like the Cat 3 even starts. It's possible for Philipsen to survive to there.
It is possible, but it's going to be a really tough day after.
No, I know, but like Mads Pedersen must be thinking, what did I do wrong to not have the intermediate sprint after the first Cat 3?
And if you make the flat stages so valuable, you should give something back to the versatile sprinters as well. Because otherwise there's no fight there. They've
geared the system really towards the pure bunch sprinter.
And I think it's an overreaction to Tadej Pogacar coming close last year, but...
Look where the stage 14 one is. You know where it is? 12 k's in before any climbing starts.
Yeah, I think that's stupid. Because I loved back in the day that Thor Hushovd had to go in a breakaway stage over a climb, Peters again.
It's the points jersey. It's not the sprinter's jersey.
I do think it should be slightly biased towards sprints, but I think it should be possible to win it if you're a versatile sprinter. I don't think a GC ride should be able to win it. That's my take.
I do not think Pedersen, I could look stupid. I think this is going to be extremely difficult for him to win the way it's set up.
Yeah, I think Philipsen wins. But spoilers.
But anyway. I even think a Binny's more likely than Pedersen.
I don't think so, because I don't think his quality is high enough.
He's got a full lead out. It's about the 70 pointers.
Yeah, but I just don't think he's consistent enough.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Sorry, 15.
Last 50k, with about 45k to go, there's a monster climb. It's 7.6 kilometers, 8.8%. It's Col de la Croisette. I thought it said croissant for a second.
I call it Le Salève.
I got really hungry for a second. But this is a beast of a climb. If it was in any other stage, I would say the GC riders might explode it. But here it's 30k before the Plateau de Salazon climb. I kind of don't see that happening. I think they're waiting for the final climb and acting there. Is that fair?
Yeah, it depends, especially if the gaps are still tight. Like, are you going to risk everything to go on Le Salève? But yeah, it's got the longest section of steep climbing in the whole race. Is this. So 4.6k is 11%. It is the longest section of steep climbing. And then we have this.
It's also the spot for a coup, you know?
Exactly. So I think it's pretty well designed stage. And then, yeah, the Soleil's we saw in the Dauphiné, very, very hard climb. 11k is 9%. It's the hardest mountaintop finish we've had in the Tour de France for several years in terms of gradient. Not high altitude, but consistently steep gradients. And we should see them go pretty fast. If the heat's, if it's very hot, which it can be here, then it'll be a hard stage. I'm going Jonas Vingegaard.
Okay.
I think small man, steep hill climb fast.
You know who's smaller?
Lenny Martinez.
Yes.
Seb Berwick.
Fair. Exactly. I can't use my Seb Berwick.
Use it on Alpe d'Huez 19.
I can't use a meme on Plateau de Salazon. I'm not having that.
The GC. I think it's a GC.
Fine. Yeah, for me, this is Tadej Pogacar winning back-to-back stages. Anyway, stage 16, it's your turn, buddy.
We have the second rest day. They have it with Benji's favorite water. No wonder they have the money to purchase the start of a Tour de France stage, Evian-les-Bains, with what they're charging Benji at Frankfurt. They have a TT start to Tonon-les-Bains. I don't actually know if this is where the water's made, but it's a hilly TT. The first 10Ks is 4%.
I'm going to protest against the start of this city for the Evian price in Frankfurt airport.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. By the way, someone, not to be named, but someone did send me proof that at the Geneva airport there are free water fountains, and that he also saw Europeans availing themselves of them. I choose to ignore that reality.
I think that's a stupid comeback. Can I be honest? The reality is, just because there's water fountains is not an excuse for the prices of water inside a store to be rampant. Because my Frankfurt airport water fountain was broken.
Yeah, but why? At the time of the day. But if there's a water fountain, just like cup your hands and get the water.
The water fountain was broken.
Oh, it was broken?
Yes. No, I pushed a button and nothing came out. It was so hot in that country that there was a drought.
Big Water. Big Water got to the fountain.
Yeah, and Big Water apparently got to the mainstream audience of this podcast as well.
The whole
I
audience was on Big Water's side. I have never felt more disconnected to our audience, actually. Anyway, we have 10Ks, 4%, so that's really fast for these guys. They'll be in the extensions, no problem. Then a descent, and then we have about 10 kilometers of flat along, towards the finish. But it's a little bit technical, actually. So there's quite a few turns, 90-degree turns, actually, in the finish. So how aggressive they are matters. It's really, do you go Remco or Poggy?
Oh.
I go Pogacar. I'm going to go Pogacar. How hard was that one in Nice?
Ooh. I kind of want to lean to Pogacar as well.
That climbing was steeper. That was harder. But Poggy put him on a minute.
Pogacar was only like 15 seconds behind at the time trial in the Tour last year on the flat time trial.
I'm going Pog.
I'm going to shoot myself in the foot, and I'm going to go for Remco Evenepoel.
There you go. Stage 17, Benji.
Stage 17 is an interesting parcours, to say the least. It is 180 kilometers starting off in Chambéry, finishing in Varon. And in the first half, there's 2 classified climbs. The hardest climb of the day is at the start of the route. So to me, this shouts breakaway formation being quite rampant. Then a fight maybe. Well, the question here is, do Pedersen and Van der Poel go in the breakaway, or do they try to control from the peloton?
I think this is breakaway.
Because the last 5K has a 2.5 kilometers at 3.5% segment before the sprint. This could be a versatile sprint. I lean towards breakaway as well because of control. But there are multiple versatile sprinters that might team up to control a stage like this, you know?
We haven't mentioned Arnaud Delis at all.
I kind of feel like this could go to the peloton.
Yeah, I think with week 3, nah. I don't think so. I'm going Fred Wright.
This is the Abrahamsen stage for me.
It's that sort of rider. Fred Wright and Abrahamsen are. I picked stage 18 from Voron.
I didn't pick Abrahamsen yet.
Oh, did you not?
No. I just named him. Don't worry. I'm still vibing. I think I like a Trentin in the breakaway for a stage like this. I don't think this is the Berwick stage either. I'm sorry. Fred Wright is a good pick, especially after the NCs. I think Vatsik and Pedersen both in the breakaway. I know that they will ride for Pedersen. I think I'll pick Pedersen. Otherwise, I don't have a Pedersen stage win on my list.
Fair enough. Stage 18 from Voron to Orsia Millet. This is where Roglic won the uphill sprint against Pogacar and Guillaume Martin back in 2020, 6 years ago. Pretty easy stage considering, all things considered. You say that, well, I say that, but there's 4,000 meters elevation gain, 186 Ks, 7Ks, 7% finish. I think this is breakaway, especially as the 2 next stages are hard. So I think this is going to be a GC rider or someone like that that's fallen out of GC. Could be Leonard Van Eetveld, but I've not seen it in week 3 of the Grand Tour yet. Could be Valentin Perry-Patra. Could be Jorgensen.
I feel like it's someone that dropped out of GC at this point.
Yeah, me too.
A Carapaz character could work, but it's not really
I'm
monster climbing enough for me.
Carapaz can win this.
Who do I choose as my victim for dropping out of GC? Like Remco Evenepoel, we haven't discussed like our trust in his chances for this Tour de France.
But we have no idea.
We haven't seen him, but I actually feel confident that he might have a good level at this Tour de France. I feel like he's gonna be at 2024 competitiveness level.
Me too.
We've seen him drop on every mountain that he's done in the last 1.5 years, which doesn't exactly exude confidence, but I agree that I expect him to be on a good level. That's why I don't really want to nail him to the cross and say, oh, this guy's going to drop by this point and not be able to win a breakaway stage like this. I think this is a Martinez stage? It's too much flat on it for me.
It's 4,000 meters hilly.
I'm gonna say Jorgensen from the breakaway.
Yeah, it's a good stage for him.
Okay,
I'll stick with
stage
that,
19. Well, then again, going in the breakaway as Jorgensen the day before we go to Alpe d'Huez is maybe not the most team-focused decision-making I've ever seen. But stage 19 is a multi-mountain stage. We start in Gap and we finish on Alpe d'Huez. And there's 2 climbs in the first half. The Col du Noyer is the second one. The first one is Col du Bayard. I don't know why I did them the opposite chronology, but it's 5K 6% followed by 7K 8%. So the second climb is quite decent, but that's break formation stuff. Then a valley in the middle, we've got Col d'Ornon as the second last climb. Alpe d'Huez as the finishing climb, 13.9K 8%. 129 kilometers, UAE control. Tadej Pogacar wins, breaks the Alpe d'Huez record.
I think so. I'm going to go with the same pick. Pogacar.
What is the Alpe d'Huez record? Do we know?
Like 36 minutes, 35 minutes? I don't know. Pantani?
What year?
90s, I guess.
Yeah, 90 something, 2000 something. I think it's late 90s, but I'm not completely sure.
Okay.
But yeah, okay.
What do you think of this?
20.
What do you think of this stage design?
I
It's
think
not
it's
a
perfectly
Unipuerto,
fine.
but
It's not a Unipuerto. It's hard enough to do some damage beforehand, but it's not breakaway stage for me. It's still completely controllable. This is just a harder than Unipuerto or GC stage for me. And I don't mind that with Alpe d'Huez. I want Alpe d'Huez to be the best riders against the best. I want it not to involve breakaway, actually.
I think it gives the break a chance with the uphill start, and then you have like Pollitt, Wellens come back. I think you're going to see Wellens doing a crazy pace, and there Pogacar wins the stage. I think UAE can control that. Stage 20 from Le Bourg d'Oisans to Alpe d'Huez, the big loop. This is the Queen stage. This is by far the hardest stage in the race. Proper long climbing, 172 kilometers long, a hard start. But too hard for Mads Pedersen to get that intermediate sprint in Mont-Denis. We have the Col de la Croix de Fer, 25 Ks at 5%, but it is a fake news climb. All the climbing's at 8%. There's 2 descents in it. We then have a long descent, and then they do the Telegraph-Galibier combo. The descent off the Telegraph is where Visma attacked with Laporte and then started to 1-2 Pogacar in the 2022 Tour de France. In the Galibier, the last 8.5 Ks at 8% average, up to 2,600 meters, very high altitude. Then a long descent. It's like 30 Ks. And then they do the Col de Sérène, which we don't really know at all. It's irregular, it's steep in parts, 13K 7%, but the last 7K is 8.3%. But yeah, as I said, there's 2Ks in there that average, the last 4Ks average over 9%. It's then a false summit. You then have like some rolling hills towards Alpe d'Huez village. So Alpe d'Huez is a village. This is like the way from the east across heading west. Instead of going up Alpe d'Huez, you go up the Sérène. So, very, very hard stage. If you're behind in GC, you got to go on the Galibier, I guess. And if it's close on GC, we'll see on the Sérène. But I think there'll be big enough gaps that there'll be big action already on the Galibier.
Oh, I think the Galibier might have my most fanatic cycling memories from the 2011 Tour de France. I'm not sure it's this side. I think it's a Serge Chevalier side, which I think is the opposite side, but I'm not completely sure, to be honest. Where I think Andy Schleck might have attacked on the Col d'Izoard, the second last climb. And then Evans had to like defend himself with maybe Veuclair was still in yellow in the Europcar days. Epic stage, genuinely, from 2011. But if we look closely at this stage, then for me, this is, yeah, we can talk about the Alpe d'Huez gimmick being at the finish, but I think it's near perfect stage design. I love the Galibier being the biggest climb in the middle of the stage, side end being hard enough, but also not the hardest climb. Being at the end there, I'm just scared that it's so far into the Tour de France that the race will already have been decided by the time we hit this, and that would take away from a stage like this. On the opposite side, if the race is not decided, then we've got an all-time classic, you know?
Exactly. So the worst case is kind of what happened last year. Pogacar's got a big lead. He's in a bit of a bad mood, and he, like, just nothing happens. Like, the Cold Light Low stage last year sucked. Not his fault, but basically, yeah, he was still strong. He got attacked on the Madeleine, and then the Cold Light Lows itself, nothing happened, right? Who won that stage?
Oh,
O'Connor from the break.
O'Connor, yes. I was going to say Harper, but they're not the same riders.
Two Australian diesels won the big long climbs in the Giro and the Tour last year. But we're hoping it's not that. We hope we have, and for the podium as well, you know, you got Saxas, you got Remco or Bora, you got Ayuso. He'll need to do something maybe. I think this is, but like you said, will the chips line up? What do I think will happen on this stage?
Like, if UAE's ahead, which is the scenario we both have portrayed so far, well, depends on whether Vingegaard takes time on Plateau de Salaison enough, because you had him as winner there. But I've got Pogacar as yellow going into the stage. If it's close enough, then, like, we can also always yap about the strategy for Visma Lease bike, and I think we've had this discussion for numerous years, where in 2022 and 2023, the strategy was making the race as hard as possible, and then in 2025 and 2024, they got criticized for making the race as hard as possible, because that would then reduce the chances for Jonas against Pogacar. If, according to the critici is what we say in Flemish. I don't know what the English word is for that. But
the critics.
At the end of the day, if Pogacar's on point, then you're not going to drop him. If he's in bad form, you're only going to drop him if you make the race hard. So that's my view there, you know? It's not like sure.
Like noodle around and just hope he drops.
Yeah, like if you don't do anything, yes, you're going to lose less time than if you capitulate after trying everything. That's logical. Yeah. But you're not going to win either, so you might as well try everything.
Exactly. If he's bad, that will only become apparent during a hard race.
That's like the when analysts in the last couple of years were like moaning about Visma trying to make the race hard. That's like the most like short-sighted take I've ever seen in my entire life in the sport of cycling. That doesn't make any sense. You're not trying to lose by 2 minutes instead of 5. You're trying to win by risking stuff.
And that's why this stage is beautifully designed. Yeah, Vingegaard, if he's behind, will have to go apeshit on this stage. And or Saxas, or Remco, or Pogacar, you know? Like, the ideal from an entertainer's perspective is Pogacar, for some reason, like in 22, he's behind, and he's gone crazy on the Galibier. It's unlikely.
Yeah, but it's not 2022, eh? So
no. But this stage allows people to choose your own adventure. But
choose your own adventure.
After I've said all that, I think Timon Aaronsson wins from the break.
I'd love that. I think Carapaz breakaway would be fun. I think it's full success from the breakaway after dropping out of GC would be a banger for stage 20 as well. Because that would then put him back on top. Whether it happens or not depends on the race beforehand. My honest take is that Pogacar's race is already won by the time we hit this race, and I'm a bit pessimistic about the GC we'll see on this stage. But that's the reality
of why I picked
the world we live in, where I'm of the opinion that if you go into something with less hype, then you'll only be surprised when something crazy happens. And I'll watch.
You know what I am less hyped about this stage? Do stage 21.
Okay, Montmartre. Yeah. 130 kilometers. Champs-Élysées stage, but with 3 Montmartre climbs. I think the last Montmartre is further from the finish line. I don't know the exact kilometers there, but it's 17K. To me, this is versatile sprint this year. And as a consequence of that being the case, I think my winner is Jasper Philipsen.
I agree. I think they've messed with a good thing, and they've made it more...
Or the Lee.
Not a bad shout. Yeah, it's for the classic sprinters now. I'd be surprised if someone goes solo, especially if it's not raining. So I will go.
How about
I'm going
we
Søren.
both pick an outsider?
I'm going Søren Varenshold.
Okay, I'm going for Milan Fretin.
There you go. That was our stage by stage recaps. I'm sure people have recorded them, and we've tried to be. I think Benji and I actually got a little bit competitive there, and we really tried to get like accurate picks. So
the odds of one of us getting a black eye in Andorra together is huge right now.
We're got a bit competitive there.
And to be honest, you'll have a dino suit on, so you've got armor on, so it's unfair to me.
Yeah, but I don't have a very long reach. Especially with a T-Rex dinosaur suit, my arms are already pretty short, so
I can walk into you and you break into pieces.
You can just put your hand up and like hold me, and I'm like swinging at the air, basically. But yeah, there's our Tour de France stage by stage picks. We'll now go on to our jersey picks, and of course our final podium shout and how we see the GC really playing out. We'll start with the first jersey that we haven't really spoken about too much, particularly in terms of the rules, and that is the KOM jersey, the polka dot classification, and that is called the best climber classification. It is HC, Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4. So Cat 4, you get 1 point. Cat 3, you get 2 points. Cat 2, you get 5. Cat 1, you get 10, which is half of the all category climbs, which is 20 points. And even second and third of an all category, 15 and 12 points, is more than you get for passing a Cat 1 in front. Benji and I just discussed offline how they've done this and the point allocations. I think they've revisited it. Do you think, Benji, they're trying to do what they did with the points classification, that they're trying to make this Pogačar proof?
Yes, in that sense, but it's kind of the opposite, you know? Like in the points classification, they made it so that sprinters are most likely to take it, while in the KOM classification, they're more creating it so that breakaways are more likely to take it. So it's the opposite principle, but it's both Pogačar proof, is what I'm trying to convey. And if I then look at, for example, even a stage 14, yeah, the Grand Ballon, the first climb is a Cat 1 climb. I was mostly shocked by the Laurent stage, the Puy-Marie stage, where both Puy-Marie, Pas de Perol, and the next climb, the Pertus, which is only 4 kilometers at 8%, are both Cat 1 climbs. So that's a stage that on paper goes to the breakaway. I'm seeing a lot of stages in this Tour de France where there's Cat 1 climbs where I'd expect there to be Cat 2 climbs. Now you said it also. Second and third at a HG climb is still more than getting first at a Cat 1 climb, and stage 19 is going to be, stage 20 is going to be massive for those out of category climbs, because both the Croix de Fer and the Galibier are HG climbs. They're with the Telegraph halfway, the Galibier also being a Cat 1 climb. But to me, it shouts that it's more likely for a breakaway rider to take it than a Tadej Pogačar in the world. And personally, I like it that way. I crave for the days where Sylvain Chavanel, Pierrick Federico, those type of riders could go in the breakaway and try and win a KOM points jersey. I do feel like those were more the hilly medium mountain riders, and on pure mountain stages, I didn't really see them fighting for the victory necessarily. So I feel like we have moved towards, it's now either pure climber or GC rider taking it. I'm leaning towards that pure climber victory as well, where it's a Carapaz of the world. But is there a world in which a Healy can benefit from those Cat 1 climbs?
Yeah, I mean, Healy nearly won on Ventoux, so Healy can climb. I just read through the rules. I think did they still do the double points on the HC climb gimmick last year? I think that's out, where there was double points on a special HC climb. Maybe that was just the Giro.
Don't remember. I think it might have been Giro.
Okay, that's not in. And like Benji said, I think a rider like Healy's got a really good shot here. I mean, you look at, he's got you have to be able to get in the break on the uphill starts. So to win this, you have to take the front three positions on the Croix de Fer start on stage 20. You have to be able to take Cat 1 and Cat 2 points on the uphill start in stage 19. And on stage 14, like Benji said, you have to take Cat 1 points on the Grand Ballon at that hard start. But you can also accumulate a lot of points by just being in breaks frequently. Like that Massif Central stage has 7 categorized climbs, some of which are like, there's a Cat 3, okay, it's just a Cat 3, but it's literally like a 6-minute climb, 5 points, 5 points, 5 points. You just rack them up. So you Yeah, I think it's about break frequency, but this is the year where like let's model Poggy for a start. Let's say okay, Poggy takes on stage 2, he takes 5 points when he
Yeah.
wins the stage basically. Stage 3 we're saying break, 4 break or sprint. Then he's not taking points, not taking points. Okay. Then he takes Tourmalet in front and so he takes 20 points, so 25 plus 2 is 30, I guess. So he's on 30 points.
25
Then,
plus 2 is 30.
exactly. But then there's a long while, and then on the stages we said he'd win. He's only taking points on one climb, and
Or
there's
2 in the case of potential Galibier.
yes, sorry on the Galibier, yes. Then he has double HC, so then he's taking 40 plus then on Solaison 60 plus Le Markstein is 70 plus I already said he was on 30, so I think he's taking minimum. If the tour we expect, he should take 100 points or so. What did he take last year?
115? 19?
Last year he took on the KOM classification 119, Vingegaard 104, Lenny 97. No, wait, you
I
guessed
remembered that shit. Yes.
That's incredible. I thought you were reading it.
I wasn't. I'm looking at the Champs-Elysees stage for some reason. Don't think there's much KOM on that.
So Lenny was 97. He was 22 points behind. I think there's more in this course for Lenny and the guys like that. So
yeah.
I think it trends towards those guys. The favorites for it are Carapaz, Lenny. You threw in Healy. Is there anyone else you like for it?
Ooh. I have to take a Pare Pancho, I guess you could name.
Nah. Which one?
Valentin.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
I was like, Aurélien.
I'm not going to pick Aurélien Pare Pancho for KOM. Ay. That'd be heresy.
Skelmo's is 5th favorite for it. VPP, like you said, he's 6th favorite. Sykes has 34.
Skelmo's KOM is a weird thing in my head.
Has he declared that?
I don't think he has. He shouldn't.
I think he should. Well, actually, I don't think he can, even if he's not going for GC. He's the only climbing support for Ayuso. He does not have liberty to go on the brakes.
Yeah, but also, if you're Skelmos, if you go for KOM or fully support Ayuso from the get-go, then you're already saying before the race starts that you're okay with having been put by Little Trek into this domestique role after quote-unquote being promised to have a team build around you for GC, you remember?
Yeah.
My winner is Lenny Martinez.
Yeah, I think Lenny should be the favorite for this. I like outsiders. I like Lennart van Eetvelt. I think he should scrap GC and go for it. He's got the uphill kick. I like Van Eetvelt for it.
Rubio,
yes.
Not confirmed.
Arensman doesn't have Arensman can win stages, but he can't sprint. Jegat will go for it, but I think Lenny's better. I also like Remco for it because there's enough. If he falls out of GC, there's enough
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Lenny should be the favorite with him and Carapaz, the way they've done the rules. That's KOM. But I'm picking Carapaz, not Lenny.
Okay. My issue with Carapaz is the frequency of him being in the breakaways I'm not confident about.
I think on the big ones when it matters, I think he'll just be better than Lenny. And I also think he can take points by holding on to come 4th when Poggy wins. Like he did on Cuyol. He did that. No. I mean when he's in the break.
Okay.
No. I mean when he's already in the break, he can survive for an acceptable result.
I was confused of how he's going to do that from the GC group.
Then he's really climbing well. That's KOM. Sprint classification. Wow, I didn't call that points classification. I think this is completely created against Mads Pedersen. And yeah, I find it hard to honestly see what stages can he really make the difference. Stage 4 that he has to win, and it's only a 50-pointer.
And stage 17.
Yeah, and even stage 9.
I mean, it's Philipsen. I don't see how he lose. not that simple. It's still sprinting.
I don't think Philipsen's as nailed on as you think he is.
Yeah, but I think it's just the memory from last year when Philipsen was, in my opinion, worse than this year going into the Tour de France.
Merlier has to go because Merlier's refused to go for it before, right? Like he's refused to. Merlier, please contest the intermediate sprints. They've literally put them 10Ks into the stage on the flat.
Yeah.
Like, it is so silly when people don't contest intermediate sprints in the first 10 days and then they do well and then they're like, oh, I wish I'd contested. I wish I just followed for fourth in that sprint.
Yeah.
I'm going with Olav Koy.
How the fuck is he going to do that?
Sprinting, innit?
What are the odds of him not being in position with 1.5 lead outs?
0. Olav Koy is always in position.
Okay. I'll accept that. I'll accept your defense. White jersey.
No, actually, sorry, I retract it. I'm talking shit. No one. It's his first Tour de France. I think he will. I'm going Merlier.
You had visions of a second dinosaur suit in your head.
No, because I realized like when guys do their first Tour de France and they're a sprinter, they just want to win a stage. Yeah. So I don't think he's going to go for it.
White jersey. Can we make a rule for the white jersey that we can't pick the same rider? Because I'm going to pick someone that I don't think you'll think about. My white jersey is Del Toro.
Why would I not think about Del Toro winning the white jersey if I had him on the podium?
Because we haven't spoken about him in the white jersey conversation at the start, and I hope you forgot.
Well, there is no white jersey conversation. There's just a GC one. There's like 2 unks who are still in their 20s, and then the rest are like 20 years old. So,
Remco's almost an unk too, to be honest.
Sykes is actually, this is the narrowest fight. Sykes is $2.50, Del Toro $3, Ayuso $4. And then, yeah, so it's a 3-way between those guys. I think Del Toro's he's the safest pick, right? They're going to let him ride his own GC.
We've seen the blueprint. Well, we've not seen the blueprint last year, but the blueprint that we envisioned for Almeida, last year would be Almeida not needing to do a lead out unless absolutely necessary.
Almeida did it in 24. He came 4th.
Yeah.
Yates came 3rd in 23.
Del Toro's climbing level at Dauphiné was higher than Almeida last year? Maybe Angliru? No?
Nah, I think Angliru was about the same. I think Almeida consistently had a better climbing level in the
but it's the first time we saw Del Toro at that level at the Dauphiné, so...
No, I agree. I'm saying Del Toro will be able to ride his own GC, and it's really, what do you think? Like, will Success explode? No one knows. Literally nobody knows.
I think it's an important question here. What should Success achieve for his first Tour de France to be successful?
Yeah, that's what we haven't really what do we actually expect? What is a reasonable expectation? Mine's like a good week 1, a good 10 days. I think follow in Barcelona. They're going to get rinsed in a TTT. Yeah. And then follow on Barcelona. Don't do silly things. Like, don't lose time on stage 4 for some reason in break formation. Don't try to go in a break either in stage 4. People won't allow it. Do your best on stage 6. Yeah, like, if he follows them on Tourmalet, that's good.
Yes, but if he gets dropped by the likes of Ayuso, it would be disappointing.
That is bad.
Unless we see a crazy Ayuso.
No. If he's getting dropped by Ayuso on Tourmalet, then he should abandon.
I thought you were going to go extreme and say he should retire, but it's a bit early for that one.
No, but then he's like not in good shape and he should do the Vuelta. So I think he's going to, gun to your head, Benji, gun to your head. Does he follow Pogačar on Tourmalet?
Give me 1 second here. I'm just confirming to my wife that I'm eating baked potato with steak after this podcast. But okay, weapon to my head. Sorry, the urgency. I see the urgency. Paul Success does not follow Tadej Pogačar on Tourmalet.
Wow. Does he come back?
Afterwards?
Yeah.
No, because Tadej Pogačar will be solo.
There's a descent and stuff. Why can't he come back?
Because Tadej Pogacar will be solo.
Nordhagen caught Tadej Pogacar this year on the flat and a descent.
We don't count that race.
I agree. It shouldn't be counted. he did that race, I think, as a favor to like Gianetti in classic shape. I don't think it really counts. So I think he follows on Tourmalet.
Okay.
Actually, do I think that, or do I just hope that? I don't know if I actually believe that. I'm trying to sort of speak it into existence.
I hope it happens for the race.
Yeah, I hope it happens. Like when he followed on Redoute, everyone's like, yes.
I hope 4 riders follow. I hope Red Bull finds a way to get 2 riders over the top near them and gets back and can roll attacks on the final climb. I want it to be close. I don't give I don't give crap who wins this race. Honestly, I couldn't care less whether it's Pogacar, Jonas, Del Toro, Paul Sixas.
It's better for cycling. Can I be honest?
It's better for cycling, but personally, I'm not invested in like anyone. I'm invested in having fun watching the sport.
No, I think Remco winning would be pretty cool.
Yeah, okay, but that's like
Remco winning would be crazy. How can you? Yeah, I think that would.
But I would dig an Ayuso win as well, but it's just not happening.
I don't think that's happening.
I don't think Remco's win is happening either.
Hey.
What do you mean, hey? I actually.
What if Remco's in good shape?
I think Remco can podium this Tour. I've said it already.
Yeah.
I've said it this whole podcast. I think Remco's going to be alright when it comes to shape.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's not raced for ages. But we're back to success. Yeah, I think top 5 and then trying to fight Del Toro for the white jerseys, that's good. I think, and if he wins the white jersey and top 5, that's a good tour.
Would a part of us be disappointed if he's not competitive for the podium?
Like,
because I think we're kind of coping if we say, oh, it would be nice if he can fight for the top 5. I think we all want to see Paul Sixas do better than that.
Like, he should be climbing as well or better than Lipovic, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He really should.
His ceiling's higher.
Yeah.
His consistency across 3 weeks,
but that's what I mean. Like, what if he has a bad day? What if they make a mistake? That's what I'm saying is that, okay, he might drop him a few times, but I'm giving him some leeway to make mistakes.
That's the thing for me. His final result doesn't matter as much to me as I want to see blitzes, flashes of being able to follow the best on certain stages.
Like Oscar
and if he loses 15 minutes the next day, I'll blame it on him being 19.
Like Oscar only. You gave him no leeway for that, and he followed on La Loza.
Who did he follow?
Pogacar and Vingegaard on Col La Loza.
Are you talking about the same Tadej Pogacar who was violently attacked by the Visma Lease bike team car?
No, he hurt his knee sprinting, he said.
That's true. But I don't count that Pogacar.
No, he was getting tired. He was under fatigue. he was just about to crack.
That's Patrick, you're like that dude mining and hoping that he can find a diamond by keep on digging.
Hey, Wilco Kelderman won natties.
Exactly.
Just keep working. Just keep going. But yeah, I agree with you, Sykes. It's like if he follows on a Tourmalet or on a big stage and then makes a mistake on another day, it's fine.
I'm imagining Pogacar just hypothetically in a scenario that we don't want to see. Pogacar crashes, hurts himself pretty badly. The next day, he drops Patrick on the pod. I told you the fatigue would work.
Nah, I wouldn't do that. But I'm still saying the stage 10 crash was not a coincidence. Last year when Johannesson chopped him.
Oh, in the final of the stage?
Yeah.
Where everybody waited?
Yeah.
Was that last year?
Yeah, that was last year. Top 10 honor, respect moments in sports.
That feels like 3 years ago. I'm telling you. It
feels a long time ago, but that happened last year, yeah.
To me, that's memory. I attribute that to like a Basque Country Grand Depart 3 days.
We had
That's the vibe I get in that memory.
We had the same stage 8 days in a row last year in week 1. It was unbelievable. I lost. Yeah, I think we agree on Sykes. Del Toro, I think we expect to just be like consistently good.
Yeah.
But does Sykes have a high climbing ceiling? That's why I'm going with Del Toro white jersey.
I'm going with Del Toro white jersey as well. The podium is fascinating though. Because for me, the podium, I've got Pogacar first. Spoilers. I've got Jonas second.
Yeah, okay, we both got Pog Jonas 1, 2. Okay.
I think we're going to get third place the same as well.
No.
But, so the 4 candidates for me are Remco, Lipovic, Sixas, and Del Toro. I don't think that's a secret.
No Ayuso.
I don't see it.
No Pitcock.
Haven't seen the blitz that I want to see. Pitcock, I don't believe for a podium. I believe he could find his way into a top 5 or something through consistency, but haven't seen him in a while in like a mountain stage. So it's hard to say. Andorra Moraban Classic, I don't really count as like the candidate to really judge what it's going to look like for the Tour de France. But Tiberi, I don't see podium candidacy at all either.
Kian.
Fuck no, 7th. If I look through those 4 candidates that I have, Remco's a gamble going into this race. I think if he has his level of 2024, he can podium this race. That's it. There it is. But I don't think he will. I still have not seen the mental progress for Remco that I wish I would see to be confident in keeping it up. Consistency throughout 3 weeks, more than 1 Grand Tour every few years. That's the vibe I have there. Then Lipovic is the beacon of consistency. Is his peak climbing level better than Paul Cézanne and Del Toro? I don't believe that.
No.
I think Lipovic finishes 4th in this race. I'll put Del Toro in 3rd place. With Sixas, I feel like I'm not completely confident. And I think I would look at the different. If he won Dauphiné, I'd probably look differently at this. Which he crashed, and that's why he has a shit result and abandonment at Dauphiné. So it's harsh to look at that, but
Piganzoli.
Bro, get in the bin.
I think Del Toro being the teammate of Pog is an advantage for GC, not a hindrance.
Yeah.
So what happens is...
for who?
It's an advantage for Del Toro, for his GC. Yeah. So let's run through the situation of stage 6, right? Yates does a nuclear lead out on Tourmalet.
Yep.
Pog goes off on his merry way. Maybe Vingegaard follows, maybe he doesn't. Let's say even in the situation where Vingegaard follows Pog, they're in the valley together. They ride happily to the finish, singing songs together on that false flat uphill.
I don't think it's impossible for Jonas to follow him, by the way.
No, me either. I'm saying that can happen. Even if that, so let's say that happens. Del Toro gets to sit on. He always gets to sit on behind and then do a burst in the last K. Red Bull have to chase, Sexas has to chase, Ayuso have to chase. But he's sitting on 4%.
The struggle is, if 2 people follow Pogacar on Tourmalet, that's where the problem resides.
Yeah, and then he can't chase from behind. But the more people that follow, the less the cooperation will be. But you're right, if Sykes and Vingegaard follow, they might just pull, and then he loses a minute there in that valley.
Yeah. And it's funny, because like, with Redoute, I was like, yeah, Sixas is going to follow Pogacar, you know? We had confidence there. Especially because of Strade Bianche, what we saw there. But Tourmalet is a completely different story, you know? I don't know what to expect there.
We've never seen him do a climb that long.
I believe Paul Sixas' ceiling is indeed being able to follow Tadej Pogacar on a climb like that.
Yeah, me too.
But he might need the experience on how to respond to those moves.
There's no reason why he'd be bad on long climbs.
And how do we interpret the attacks of Tadej Pogacar these days? Because if we look at 2023, 2024 era, 2024, when was you plan? 2024, right?
23, stage 14.
23, really?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. We saw that Pogacar had the acceleration, was able to put a gap into Jonas Vingegaard through that acceleration, then Jonas had the engine to crawl it back. That's the thought process that I remember from those years. And then we come to be honest, Pogacar just leveled up so much compared to that year that Vingegaard then had to close a gap.
Yeah, but
especially partially because of the crash. But
they have two ways of attacking though. They have like the Narvaez Wellens just like ape shit from the bottom style. And then they have the like Sivakov, Adam Yates wind up. And then he attacks seated. And then he just basically keeps attacking until you drop.
Yeah, but the attack seated, for Jonas, I'm actually less scared about on Tourmalet.
Also, then there's the Galibier 24 strat, which is you use his punch in the last K and make it a 2-minute effort and then do a descent mano a mano.
That I've got more confidence for Pogacar in than... Because
Vingegaard's strength is like really steep, long climb, just like diesel.
Yeah. So either... I still see Pogacar as like the favorite for this Tour. I've already said it.
Yeah.
Unironically, the seated attack feels the weakest against Jonas. Because you want the separation.
But he still dropped him with it last year.
Yeah, because he was so much better. Jonas was shit on Otakam.
Yeah, that Otakam, I'm not sure he'd be like, oh, it was seated. I think Narvaez was going pretty fast. Like,
Jonas wasn't. That's the problem.
No, but to me, it was more the Valmenier one was seated, where Sivakov did like a lead out after 10, 15 minutes, and then Pogacar then seated on like 7%.
Yeah.
And there I agree. It's like, okay, there you might be able to follow more than like when he... But the thing is, Pog does the minimum to get you out of the draft, and then he's like, I'm going to do my threshold, and then my threshold's higher than you, so...
Yeah.
Del Toro, I think it's an advantage. He's Tadej Pogacar's teammate. It's not a hindrance, and I think it's going to help him tactically most of the time, unless indeed there's 3 guys ahead.
Are we going to pick the same podium or what?
Nah, I've changed my mind. You can pick Del Toro. Let's say Paul Sexas. I'm going to say Paul Sexas third. Let's say he's like third, and then that's
you
like
have to.
That's
it was
the
your
main
hot take before the start of the year.
Was it? Okay, yeah. Sexas third.
And by the way, Wilco Kelderman winning a race was my hot take, so I just want to put that out there. Yeah.
Well done.
I'm taking credit.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my podium. Pogacar, Vingegaard, Sexas. I think it'll be closer this year. I think it'll be much closer than last year.
Last year just wasn't close.
Yeah, last year Halterkam and don't forget the TT in week 1.
To be honest, it was not horribly far either at the end. 4 minutes 24.
Last year.
Yes, and that is because the last week.
Well, Vingegaard didn't lose time in the last 7 stages.
Exactly.
But
don't do that to me.
I think it'll be closer. I think it's going to be a much closer fight this year.
I definitely hope so, and I actually kind of believe in it too.
Yeah.
Tadej is looking fantastic. Jonas is looking a bit better than last year, is my take. So,
yeah. Who knows?
Didn't have a concussion at Paris this year.
Exactly. He just had a better run in than last year. So, I think it's going to be a better fight. And I'm really looking forward to it. And also these, Bora super team against the Trek super team against the young French pretender. Like, it's going to be good.
And on paper, the riders fighting for third or better.
I agree. I think, no disrespect to them, I know it doesn't counter my narrative about Only. I think it was a very soft top 10 last year.
For sure.
Like, really soft.
Like Healy and Giga being 28 minutes and 32 minutes behind is sickening. Disgusting.
That's a bit harsh, but yeah, I mean, when you look at Jega this year, his climbing level, I know he had a knee injury.
Yeah.
So I think, like Kian, I know he's like 7. Kian's a professional GC rider.
What's the gap going to be at the end of the... We got to guess the gap.
To second?
Regardless of the winner to second place.
Two minutes 30.
2 minutes 17.
So closest to the pin wins?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. And then, that was our Tour de France preview. Every year, I hype myself up for it. It's like, I think 24 was. No, actually, what was the word? Last year was a tough one because after the TT and Haltercam, we were like, okay, I'm pretty hyped for this one. Maybe Poggy just on.
Can I change my time? I'm looking through the history of the Tour de France, and it's not looking too good for my 2 minutes 17.
You think it's normally more?
Is the closest Tour de it would be the closest Tour de France since 2020.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it'll be closer this year.
And before 2020, every year was under. Not every year, but most years were under 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. That's why I picked 2:30. I didn't expect you to go under.
Well, of course, except Vincenzo Nibali, who won by 7 minutes 47, because he's the best Tour de France rider ever, of course.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be. I'm hoping. Maybe again, I'm trying to speak something into existence, but I hope it won't be the blowout of previous years.
Just saying, Tadej Pogacar's never won with the gap of Vincenzo Nibali, so is he really that good?
These are the questions you have to ask.
Jonas didn't either, so...
Yeah. So, did he not on Col La Loza on 23 and 23? Didn't he lose 6 mins? Hog?
Wow. What are we yapping about?
How much did Vingegaard win by in 23? Surely there's a big gap.
7 minutes 29.
What did Nibali win by?
7 minutes 43.
Okay.
7 minutes 47. Sorry, on Jean-Christophe Perrault.
There's levels to this. Alrighty. Thanks for listening to our long preview. I'm going to have to cut Benji off before he changes his mind on things. Thanks for your support throughout the year. Thanks to Luke for producing it. Thanks, Mrs. Rouge, for all she does in the background. And thanks, Benji, for his unwavering co-hosting. And thanks to you all. Really enjoyed it. And can't wait to see you maybe in Barcelona, but definitely with the first live recap on Saturday evening. Until then, ciao, ciao.